in critical condition with a complex lung infection, also showing signs of early kidney failure. Texas sees its largest measles outbreak in more than 30 years. Health authorities confirming 90 cases there.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Save 60% on all window styles and pay nothing for 2 years. Now through February 28th at Window Nation. Schedule your free consult today at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on 1210 WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com.
Valspar products make any project easy. Valspar Exterior Stain and Sealer makes preserving your fence a breeze. Valspar Reserve makes updating the den a piece of cake.
Red velvet.
And giving your siding new life with Valspar Defense is a walk in the park. So no matter what projects are on your list, Valspar has everything you need to make it a day at the beach. Valspar, made for more. Get it at Lowe's.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It really should be illegal to have as much fun as I've been having since the return of the Trumpster. Every day, there's a new step being taken towards ridding us of the scourge of the deep state. And a counter-reaction from the left that is beyond parody. I wish that you could see what I'm about to play. You could actually if you're over on YouTube. We'll get to that in a second. But it's getting increasingly hard to figure out what's reality and what's from the Onion. They've cracked. Completely cracked up. They're out of their gourd. And I'm here for all of it. Welcome back to the Matt Rooney Show, ladies and gentlemen, on 1210 WPHD. Broadcasting tonight from the banks of the not-so-chilly Schuylkill. I was able to wear a lighter jacket.
Yeah, it's a nice night. It's a nice night.
It is a nice night.
Yeah.
If we didn't have to work, I'd say let's go for a stroll, Daniel.
Heck yeah.
Catch up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, nothing romantic about it. Just two friends catching up, enjoying each other's dudeness.
Yeah, we can go to University City. Just over the bridge. See what's going on over there.
Yeah, do what you do in Philly, right? Grab a cheesesteak, avoid bullets.
Avoiding bullets isn't so much here. It's in other parts, but not where we're at.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's worse parts of the city.
Sure.
How far are we from Temple? Would you say?
I don't know. 10, 15 minutes.
About 10, 15 minutes? You'll by car, but what about walking?
I don't know. Do you want the exact?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got this thing called the internet where we can look it up.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves? Oh, I have to carry a program?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll tell you how you can participate in the program if you want to, folks. I don't think there's anything else good on tonight. 855-839-1210 is the number.
An hour walking.
It's an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, we could do that.
57 minutes to be exact. It's 2.4 miles. Or you want to drive, it's about 11 minutes.
We can do
26 minutes on a bus. You want a bike, it's 16. So take your options.
Even with my luscious dad bod, I think I can do 2.4 miles in better than an hour. I think.
Yeah.
We should do it some night this summer.
Not going to Temple.
Why not?
Mm-mm.
Don't you want to be a man of the people?
Not here. Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
Live a little.
Nope. I'm good, man.
That should actually be Philly's official motto. Chamber of Commerce. Come on. It's Philly. Live a little.
Yeah, well, it's...
What's life without a little drama? Without a drive-by shooting from time to time?
You tell me, man. You tell me.
You tell me. Well, I was about to say to our audience how they can participate if they want to. 855-839-1210 is how you call in if you want to. We're a little bit stingy with the calls here on the program. They got to be good. You got to make them good. But occasionally we put somebody on even just because of the comedy value of it. Or because you have something poignant to say. I will tell you tonight, you will go to the front of the line and we'll prioritize you if you're a federal worker. Bonus points if you've been laid off because you couldn't come up with the 5 bullet points that Elon asked you for. We'll push you right to the front of the line. It's the least we can do for your service. Thank you for your service. You can also check us out over on YouTube. That's the preferred methodology to take the show and your viewership of it to the next level, where you can confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound. Some would say more so, but it would be vain for me to go down that road. So I'm just going to leave it to you to draw your own conclusion. You head over to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like, participate in the comments. This is the page that, if I may pat him on his back for him, he can pat himself on his back if he'd like to. Producer Danielle Valdez actually built. You did it, buddy.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and now we're up to 9,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a...
I mean, it had about... this is a new channel completely. So I built it from the ground up, and now here we are.
Yeah, and here we are. Do you feel a sense of pride?
A little bit.
Do you look at it and say, that's my baby?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Depending on how the baby's behaving?
Depending on how it looks.
How it's being run?
Yeah, that's a different story for a different time.
A different story for a different time. Yeah, we only got 3 hours. We don't have time for you to get into that.
Right.
We're limited. We're extremely limited around here.
Right.
Let's look and see who's kicking around over on YouTube tonight. Many of the regs are here. Gary has posted 2 martini glasses. I hope that means that you're having 2 martinis, Gary, and having a good night. Suze loves Jeffy. Hey, Suze. I'll wave back at you since you're waving at us. Kimmy's here. Joe's here. Mangle Mush is here. Woot woot to you. And to your neighbor, too. Newman. Lots of the regs in the chat tonight. I'm not even going to tell you to behave because you're all much more fun when you don't. Busy program as per usual here on the Matt Rooney Show. I won't bury the lead here. We've got 3 hours. They're crazy enough to give us 3. In the second hour allotted to us, we have my buddy Assemblyman Mike Inganamort from up in the far reaches of North Jersey. Being a South Jerseyan, sometimes I jokingly refer to it as New York. But he's a good guy, and he's working on something very interesting. He's one of the sponsors of a New Jersey version of Doge. That's right. Back at the end of January, a gaggle of Republican legislators got together and introduced a resolution which, if it made its way through the legislature and to Governor Murphy's desk and somehow got past it, New Jersey would form a Doge commission which would undertake similar reforms is what you're seeing down in Washington, D.C. Now, spoiler alert, New Jersey at the moment, both the legislature and the governor's mansion, under ironclad Democrat control. So it ain't happening this year. But there's a gubernatorial election right around the corner in November. So if the GOP is successful, this could be the outline of very big things to come. So we're going to talk to Mike about what's in there. And he also might have some fun, cringeworthy, want to put your own head through a wall anecdotes of some things that New Jersey is wasting my tax dollars on. I say my tax dollars because I pay taxes in the dirty Jers. And then in the final hour, the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by one of our faves here at the station, Ben Manis. Wrote a great article over at Broad and Liberty sketching out possible links between U.S. aid and, wait for it, leftist prosecutors. Surprise, surprise, right? If you're surprised, it means you haven't been paying attention. U.S. aid, as we're now learning, was essentially a giant money laundering operation to take your tax dollars and advance leftist causes, whether it be transgender Colombian operas or D&I workbooks for the Middle East, or here at home, supporting leftist causes and organizations.
Can't forget Iranian Sesame Street.
I want a copy of Iranian Sesame Street so badly. So it at some point, some hackers got to get their hands on it, right?
Yeah. Someone probably has it. I'm sure you could do a quick Google search.
You could use the Google on the interwebs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if anybody's found it, point me to that, because I would love to see it. I would imagine there's probably like a little Muppet character that decides to become a jihadi.
Oh, God.
Whatever the next street is over from Sesame Street, you know?
One episode is them just capturing hostages.
Yeah.
They're like,
here's how to do it. Step 1. Get them in a chokehold. Step 2. Put a bag over their head.
Do you know, kids, that you can build a bomb with a condom paid by USAID?
Remember, kids, it's always time for a pipe bomb.
one pipe bomb.
And this is an IED. You put it in the ground and people step on it and go kaboom.
I'm telling you what, man. When I interned at the Heritage Foundation back in the day, and there was one intern in this like little war room they had for us. We all sat in a big circle. They called it the pit because everybody was at a computer in a big circle. And one of the interns was tasked with viewing Palestinian cartoons and other cartoons from the Middle East that if you're a kiddie over in that part of the world, you see on your Sunday morning television, assuming you have electricity and access to one. It's every horrible thing you would think it would be.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be anything spectacular.
Yeah, rife with, isn't it great to be a martyr messaging, tons of anti-Semitism. How can you save a people that from the time they're children, they are having these monstrous ideas pounded into their skulls? I don't know the answer to that question. But the next time somebody freaks out over Donald Trump building a hotel in Gaza, remind them that it could be a whole lot worse, because it is a whole lot worse right now. Just throwing that out there. So, again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. And again, if you want to call in, 855-839-1210. But with two guests and Twit Talk and Dan's Fact of the Day and all of the forthcoming rants that you can expect on this program, again, it's, I don't want to say don't even try, but, We're always open to being wowed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your weekend,
Someone
Bubby?
said Big Bird with a suicide belt.
Oh, God. Yeah, Big Bird would not be the best suicide bomber candidate because you could see him coming from 300 miles away. A giant yellow bird the size of a giraffe.
The count is 4 ounces of gunpowder.
Right, exactly.
2.
Yeah. Iranian Sesame Street. I want to say it. I really do. And this is at a time when there are so many people who are hurting. We're going to talk a little bit about inflation a little later on this evening. But, you know, I had the sad misfortune of being in the supermarket within the last week. And I saw not one but 2 people go up and then put things back. Now,
I've done that.
Well, look, I was going to say, and it can happen for an honest reason, right? Like I'm at the supermarket with my 2 kids, and those little devils, sometimes they'll grab something off the shelf, and all of a sudden it'll end up on the conveyor belt, and then I'm like, hold on a second, I don't remember grabbing, 6 bags of M&Ms, right? Like when did that happen? Well, at some point when I was distracted, my wife was talking to me on the phone about something that I forgot to add to my list or whatever else is going on. They threw them in there, but that's not the vibe I was getting. It's what people are going through out there right now is real. They're suffering, and it's part of the reason why, if I can be honest with you, folks, as I always am here on this program, the whining from these federal workers is driving me nuts. It's ticking me off at a level beyond that which leftist whining usually drives me to. Let's take this latest development, right? Elon Musk was prompted over the weekend by Donald Trump to go harder and more aggressive in trying to call the federal workforce, take on the deep state, get rid of all the deadwood. So Elon did something that I think most of you would consider pretty uncontroversial. He said, hey, listen, you got till, I think it was midnight on Monday. It was midnight or noon. I forget. I got to go take a look at the email. But Elon said, hey, listen, federal workers, we want 5 bullet points. 5 bullet points explaining what you've done over the course of the past week.
It's not terrible. I have to do it.
We all have to do it.
Yeah, my old summer job, I had to, at the end of each night, I had to do a daily report of everything that happened, everything I did, every report I had to make.
Yeah.
There was 2 shifts, so the person in the morning would have to do their half, and then the person at night would then add to that half. So I had to do it every single day.
Basic accountability.
And I had to email every single area supervisor, every single above me, I had to email and CC all these people, just let them know what happened that day. Even if there's nothing that happened, I still have to tell them, this is what happened. This is how it went, all this kind of stuff.
That's how any well-run workplace operates, right? I mean, I'm laughing because I'm a lawyer. That's my day job. So I bill clients, and as like most lawyers, I usually bill in 6-minute intervals, right? That's how you get billed, point 1, point 2, point 3. And at the end of the month, my clients get a bill, and it has everything that I have done, every phone call, every email. Obviously, nobody loves that system because nobody loves to pay lawyers. You'd rather not have to pay a lawyer. If you are, it usually means that there's a problem. But at the same time, it's one of the most transparent systems you could ever come up with. You know every darn thing that I do. So it makes it all the more obnoxious when these federal workers are expressing how much they resent having to check in and explain themselves. And the genius of Trump and Elon here, okay, is that they are once again, by eliciting this reaction from everyone hyperventilating over, oh my God, I can't believe they're making people explain what they do at work. They're causing the federal workforce and the deep state to out themselves as the villains that we know them to be. Now, I'm not saying there isn't someone in Washington, D.C. that's not doing a good job for the American people, right? There are people down there doing real work. And Elon himself said it on X that we've already gotten some good responses, and these are probably the people that should be running the show, right? But goodness gracious, If you cannot explain what you've been working on over the course of the past 5 weeks, you're probably someone that, or past week, then you're probably someone we can do without. And we'd rather reinvest what we're paying you into the economy by cutting your job, reducing spending, limiting inflation because we've cut spending, and then that person in the supermarket who's paying taxes and also dealing with the consequences of these inflationary forces because we overspend, they're not going to have to put that extra item back off the conveyor belt the next time they go to the supermarket. That's what this is all about. Elon's hoping to cut $1 trillion from the federal deficit through his efforts. There's only two ways that government can directly influence inflation, folks, in terms of cutting its spending. Dramatic entitlement reforms, right, which there's no consensus for, or eliminating all of this obvious waste. It's the logical place to start. But it really, I'm not going to get into it because in the off chance whoever it is that saw me is listening to this program or hears this program and I describe them and they get embarrassed, I don't want to get into it. But it was really a heartbreaking scene and it made me angry. And I'm Irish, and when I am either drinking or I'm angry, my face gets red and it's very obvious how I feel. I would not be good at poker. You're listening to the Matt Rooney Show. Segment number 1 done, but 3 full hours still lie ahead. Again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Let me caffeinate a little bit, and then we'll be back in just a second.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
They're bringing out the big guns now, too, to gripe about Elon. I don't really want to play any audio because I have to make sure that I'm pumping the brakes on how quickly I elevate my blood pressure. One can only take so much, even one as hardy as I, the host of our program. But Chris Christie was on this week, ABC, doing his usual Chris Christie thing. And surprise, Fatty McThunder Biscuits said that Elon Musk does not have the authority to do what he's doing. Look, it's one thing to be 800 pounds. Oh, no. Is he here again?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's coming.
I felt the tremor.
Yeah.
Not in the force, but in the floor beneath my feet. I really hope he doesn't find out about the WIP Tasty Cake Wall.
Oh, maybe he's walking away.
Oh.
Yeah, he went away.
All right, we're safe.
Yeah, we're good.
We don't have to lock up the vending machine again. We had to barricade it the last time he was here.
Yeah, that's a full stampede. That's a stampede to that wall.
Christy want num-nums.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know. Oh, no!
What is that? What is that?
You don't know what that is?
No.
I'm Chris Christie. Want Krispy Kreme donuts?
Where are you getting these random sounds from?
Where am I getting them? We got like 3,000 soundboards on this computer, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so Christie says that Elon Musk can't do what he's doing. I've got news for the former U.S. attorney from the state of New Jersey. He absolutely can.
Why can't he?
Why can he or why can't he?
Why can't he?
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. So this is high school freshman year civics. We have three branches of the federal government, right? We've got the judiciary, we've got the legislative branch, and then we've got the executive branch. The Office of Personnel Management is under the executive branch umbrella. So is the FBI. So are all of these other agencies and departments that are currently receiving emails from Elon Musk. Who is the head of the executive branch? I'll give you three guesses, and the first two don't count. It's the president, President Donald J. Trump the Great.
Damn, I was going to say Howard Stern.
You were going to say Howard Stern?
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel.
I was way off.
Oh, Daniel.
You have failed me for the last time.
Is it Star Wars?
Yeah, it's a Star Wars board.
Yeah, I was way off.
Yeah. It's Donald Trump. So if Donald Trump tells Elon Musk, hey, Elon, I'm using you as a consultant. I'd like you to send an email to all of these federal workers that are part of my branch to see what they're up to. Totally legit. How is it any different than if Donald Trump did what the federal government's done for years and hire third-party consultants and pay them gazillions of dollars to do similar things? The only reason they don't like it here is because it's Elon, and his recommended advice is to send out pink slips. That's why they're griping. It's not because there's anything illegal about it. Chris Christie, in between his meals, because he eats like a hobbit, right? So I guess second breakfast and noonsy or whatever they call it. If he wants to correct me where I'm wrong and explain which part of civics class I missed, I would welcome his input. But until Elon Musk starts firing Supreme Court clerks or staffers on Capitol Hill, which, again, are not part of the executive branch, it's impossible to craft an argument that anything is illegal here. It's absolutely not. And notice that there's been progression again, right? We were having a constitutional crisis. Now they're back to King Elon. What he's doing must not be legal because we don't like it.
It's funny how everyone loved Elon originally. They're like, oh, he's doing such a good thing with Tesla and all these electric cars, and then all of a sudden he starts doing this, and like, I hate him now. F that guy. You know, he can't do this. I didn't vote for him. All this, all that. So it's funny.
Yeah, it is. It is funny. But I don't think anybody's mind is really being changed here. People are complaining that did not support Donald Trump in the last election that Donald Trump is doing exactly what Donald Trump ran on doing, which is the part about it that's really screwy, right? It's not as if we have an example here of what we've weathered so many times in our political past when someone runs on a promise, read my lips, no new taxes, and then raises taxes. That's not what this is. What's happening right now is exactly what Donald Trump ran on. It's exactly what Donald Trump and Elon Musk talked about, including at that second triumphant Butler, Pennsylvania rally not all that long ago. The fact that the deep state doesn't like it tells you why it's so important. This is the clip I teased at the beginning of the show. It's cut number 1. Are we playing it on YouTube? Are they going to be able to see it on the YouTube channel?
They can play it on YouTube. It's just not. There's really not much audio to it for the radio.
Yeah, no, but you can hear the song, and I can narrate for you.
Yeah,
because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Why is this not playing? Oh, it's because I don't have it on.
Now, if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/at1210WPHD, you can see it. It's, I don't know, 100 protesters outside of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., protesting in... What do you even call this? It's like performative dance?
I guess, but also I don't...
They're dance protesting.
Unpopular opinion, I don't mind it. Like, it's not hurting anyone.
No, it's not hurting anyone, but it's so ridiculous. It's interpretive dance.
Right. Yes, it is, but it's...
Doesn't this illustrate the absurdity of being upset about what's being cut?
I guess. I mean, it's not really saying anything about what they're protesting. It's just them
Well, that's
dancing.
my point.
Yeah. They're just dancing. Like, again, I don't have an issue with it. They're doing it peacefully, but like, what?
Right. They're playing a violin, then they're pretending to be freezing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, if I'm Donald Trump, I want as many people to see this as possible. And I would reference it as an example for why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is what your money's being wasted on at a time when veterans can't find housing. Your kids are living in their basement at 35, your basement at 35 because they can't afford a home. You have to sell a kidney to buy eggs. And this is what the federal government's been spending your tax dollars year in and year out to subsidize? No, thank you. 855-839-1210 is the number. I'm Matt Rooney. This is the Matt Rooney Show. I'm going to go do some interpretive dance in the hallway just to stretch my limbs here, and we'll be back with more of our program in a moment.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Get ready. Friday, March 21st. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT presents our 8th annual Radiothon, benefiting the Travis Manion Foundation, presented by Edelman's Coins. We will be live from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. with special guests, surprises, and fun. Plus, hear stories about how your donations to the Travis Manion Foundation go directly toward empowering veterans and families of the fallen nationwide by training them to become mentors to youth, find healing, and unite communities through service. Listen Friday, March 21st, beginning 6 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. Thank you to our sponsors, Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer, Emmons Roofing, Windows and Solar, online at emmonsroofing.com. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Call Oliver for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. And Stockwell Elastomerics, where careers are made and ownership is earned.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time to celebrate American Heart Month with Rescue Natural Supplements. For nearly 40 years, Rescue Omega-3 has been providing people with the essentials to fortify heart health, reduce inflammation, and support healthy cholesterol levels. That's why it's the best time to dive into Rescue's February special. Right now, Rescue's most popular products, their premium omega-3 fish oils, are buy one, get one free exclusively for radio listeners. Just use the listener code OMEGA50 when placing your your order. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use that code OMEGA50 online when you visit res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Don't forget the code OMEGA50 when buying a 1 bottle of Rescue Omega-3s. Get a second bottle free. OMEGA50. Fortify your heart. Support a healthier well-being with a Rescue Omega-3.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit DKappliances.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
But the people have given us a resounding mandate for dramatic change in Washington, and we are going to deliver it. We're going to use it, and we're going to make America great again by using it. So it's going to be something.
The Donald at CPAC, ladies and gentlemen. Promises made, promises delivered. Just like we promised to give you an amazing show every week, and we never let you down. Big news out of Germany tonight. F to the YI. Big win for Germany's right. They should have listened to Elon, the leaders in the European capitals that scoffed when he said, listen, Russia is not half the threat that you pose to yourselves through your incorrect, short-sighted investments, your cultural decline, everything else that ails Europe and is rotting it out from the inside out. Well, now tonight, and this is from one of the European rags, Germany's center-right CDU-CSU bloc is on track for a clear victory in Sunday's parliamentary elections, even as support for the far-right surged, according to exit polls. The results paves the way for conservative leader Friedrich Merz to be the next chancellor of the European Union's biggest economy and succeed Social Democrat Olaf Scholz, depending upon the outcome of coalition talks. Merz's Christian Democrats and their Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union, are forecast to win approximately 30% of the vote, according to 2 exit polls. And then the far-right Alternative for Germany party surged to between 19.5% and 20%. So Germany is taking a rightward turn, a significant development as the United States initiates a new phase in the talks to bring the Ukrainian war to an end. And at the time when the world economy is facing plenty of challenges, including all of this persistent inflation, which is a result, obviously, of some really exceptionally crappy policies. So something to keep an eye on tonight over there across the Atlantic. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. That's one of the ways you participate here at the Matt Rooney Show. Remember, in our next hour, Assemblyman Mike Inganamort joins us to talk about a New Jersey version of the Doge bill. That's right. Doge could be coming to New Jersey depending upon how November's election pans out in the Garden State.
It's also crazy that everyone's so against Doge now, but Obama and Biden were like, hey, we should be doing this back in like 2012. I know we mentioned it last week, but like it's funny. They're like, oh, they can't be doing this, but Obama and Biden were like, we should be doing this, but no one seems to care.
Right. We played the clips, and the implication that you can draw from people that loved it back then or complaining about it right now is that they want the lip service, but they don't want anything to actually ever change and get better, right?
Yeah, I just think they don't want to see. I don't think they want to see Trump literally do anything. I think anything that he thinks is good, they just don't want him to do it, and they're always going to try and find some way around it. So
yeah, which is even kind of more screwed up when you think about it, right? That what Dan's essentially saying, and I don't want to put words in that pretty little mouth of yours.
Go ahead, man.
The only reason that some of these folks that are complaining or angry about this is because it's Donald Trump doing it, and they don't want him to be the one that does it. They don't want him to be the one that succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen some commentary to that effect online in recent days. Some Democrats, the wiser among them, a wise Democrat's a little oxymoronic in 2025, but some of them had said, you know what, it really stinks that he's the one to do this, that we should have done it. And that's true, and it's not just Democrats that failed, it's Republicans that failed. What was George W. Bush's legacy? Did government shrink under the regime of compassionate conservatism? No, it didn't. We developed a surveillance state. What was it, Medicaid Part D? Nothing got better under George W. Bush. We just lost more of our freedom under George W. Bush. I mean, the only argument for George W. Bush in retrospect is that he wasn't John Kerry. Could have been worse.
I'm George W.
George W. Bush. George W. Bush, who was very rude to Donald Trump at Carter's funeral. Quite distressing.
Yeah, well, him and Mr. Barack Obama were laughing back and forth with each other.
Barack Obama and Donald Trump got along famously.
Yeah.
Famously at the funeral. We all saw that footage.
Now, here's a question. Do you think these
Let me give you an answer.
Do you think these politicians like actually hate each other? Or do you think they're all just playing like politics? Like, do you think if they go out and they're just like, you know what, you're a great person to hang out with. I like your personality. I mean, we agree, like we disagree. But do you think like they actually like hate each other, like legit?
I think it depends on who we're talking about. I think Barack Obama is a great example of someone who probably, because of his ideology, does strongly dislike Donald Trump, but he loves being one of the beautiful people that's part of the inner circle of government power more. So Donald Trump, right, has won the election. By the time we get to Carter's funeral, he's triumphant. He has a mandate. Barack Obama probably thinks that Donald Trump is a racist. He thinks that we should fundamentally transform the country, and his vision is opposite that of Donald Trump. But Barack Obama wants to be perceived at all times as sitting at the cool kids table. And right now, Donald Trump is what's cool. He's triumphed. No one can deny that. So that's my answer to your question, Daniel.
Okay.
Being in is more important to the megalomaniacs that often find their way to the zenith of power in our American republic. Is it a good thing? I mean, you have to be a little bit of an egomaniac to want to do something like run for president. So I don't think any of these guys are the meek, right, that we talk about in the Bible, right? They all have egos that, if they were manifested physically, would make it difficult for them to get it through most doorways. But yeah, Barack Obama is an example of a rank narcissist, a guy that we're glad is currently out of power, and hopefully it remains that way. Lots of lefties having a bad week. We're going to talk about more of them as tonight's program proceeds. Bernie Sanders, who got burnt pretty badly, he was feeling the burn at RFK's confirmation hearings. You recall that Bernie was doing his thing, and RFK pointed out how much money he had received from Big Pharma.
Baby onesies.
Baby onesies.
These baby clothes.
And then Bernie started going, oh, I only received $1 million. I did not receive $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
So Bernie is now, as if to prove her point, has a video out where he is, I guess this got sent out to potential donors, where he is asking for money so that he can travel around the country to complain about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It's like somebody putting up a GoFundMe so they can live their van life and go across country or something. It's cut 7. Hearing is believing.
I am once again asking for your financial support. I don't have to tell anybody that we're living in dangerous and unprecedented times. We are fighting now against the oligarchs, Elon Musk and the others, who are essentially running the government, the richest people in the world. We're taking on Trump's movement toward authoritarianism, putting more and more power into his own hands, undermining the Congress, challenging the courts, not knowing what the Constitution is about. We are right now engaged in a major struggle to make sure that the Congress does not pass legislation which gives massive tax breaks to billionaires and then cuts Medicaid, education, and programs that working families desperately need. I am going to be running around this country along with others to rally the American people, to continue the fight for justice, to stand up to Trump and the authoritarianism that we are seeing. To be successful, we're going to need your help. So please, if you can send $27 or anything that you could afford, we'd much appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You need your
Why
help.
is that? Okay, well, first of all, why is it so specific? You can send $27. Like, what? Just say 20 or whatever. And two,
$27 will get me a bowl of soup and a magazine
and
at
two,
Union Station.
Don't you think that he has enough money from his book?
Right. The guy's worth at least a few $1 million. At least as of the last time I checked a year ago, the guy owns 3 properties, right? He does not need your money to buy a plane ticket, to fly to a college in the middle of the country, to vetch about Donald Trump and Elon Musk and how mean they're being to the federally subsidized sponges that populate Washington, D.C.'s big marble buildings.
So as of, this really isn't that recent, but as of 2018, he was the 67th in the Senate with $513,513. That was his net worth.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this other website that says he's up to $3 million.
That doesn't surprise me.
Something about being in the Senate makes senators wealthy, even though the salary of a senator isn't anything particularly impressive relative to what these guys and gals could earn in the private sector, right? The salary of a U.S. senator, I want to say, is about it's like $174,000, $190,000, something like.
His salary?
Yeah,
$174,000.
Yeah, which again is not terrible money, but when you consider what these guys could earn if they worked elsewhere, and also you're living in Washington D.C.,
but his book,
which is like New York prices.
But his book brings in 1.7+ million. So,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he sold 505,000 of one book, 127,000 from another, and then 1.1 million from his first one.
Yeah, but he needs your money. He needs your money. I have this image of him and Elizabeth Warren sitting on those old-timey looking suitcases with bumper stickers from different places around the country, hitchhiking. We'll work for food. It's parody. It really is. Who would give this guy money, right? Like, who listens to that video? I guess you're out there. You might even be in the audience tonight and says, wow, you know what? I really need to give $27 that I don't have to Bernie Sanders so that he can go forth and deliver the gospel to the rest of the country of how horrible it is that the world's richest man is donating his time for free to root out corruption and waste in our federal government. One of the things I try to do, because it's my job as a radio host, is I try to step into the mind of a leftist so I can explain them to you. This is an example of something that's very challenging for me. It hurts. It hurts to try to do it. All right, well, whatever, right? Best of luck to Bernie on his road trip that's going to be funded by, I don't know, probably whichever big pharma agency company is donating to him at the moment.
Do you think we should? You think we should donate and then follow him on, like, if he comes to Pennsylvania? You think we should donate to him and just throw tomatoes at him?
I think somebody should show up and deliver him a giant check for $27. You know those Publishers Clearinghouse checks?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Senator Sanders, you know, we were having a rough time, but, you know, we all chipped in at the office to give you $27.
This is what we could come up with.
Yeah. It'll get you, you know, I don't know. You could stop at a Salad Works in Duluth.
Here you go. His website, I guess, Act Blue or whatever.
Yeah.
His donation amounts, what's him in 27? He has $2.70. Then it goes to 27, then 50, then 100, then 270, then 500, then 1,000, and then there's an open.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to make it monthly? You can also do that. You have to enable to donate. You have to be U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident.
Emphasis on the lawfully
at
admitted.
Least 18, not a federal contractor, and yeah, I'm making this contribution with my own personal credit card and not with a corporate or business credit card or a card issued to another person.
Yeah, the standard disclaimer for federal donations.
So I guess we can't take a business card and give him $27. That's being our own dime. But he has his own TikTok account, if you're curious.
Well, I think that's where that clip came from.
Yeah,
he posted on TikTok.
U.S. Senator for Vermont. Not me. Us. That's his bio.
Us.
With 3.1 followers.
So
he's following 14.
So profound.
Yeah.
So profound.
Yeah.
Maybe Bernie's next stop will be San Francisco. I don't know if you've heard this, folks. Another one of these Christmas came early kind of news stories that have been happening on a daily basis since Donald Trump returned to the District of Columbia. According to Newsmax, President Trump is moving forward with plans to sell multiple properties in Northern California, including the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building and a historic structure at 50 United Nations Plaza. According to ABC7, the administration is also going to sell all of the furniture, all the sticks of furniture in the Nancy Pelosi building. Of course, this is named after the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, two-time Speaker of the House, who stepped down from that role. I guess it was a couple of years ago now, and Hakeem Jeffries has taken her place, but she's still kicking around Congress, ailing, seen in a wheelchair not all that long ago.
I definitely don't remember seeing the Nancy Pelosi building when I was in San Francisco. I really don't.
That wasn't part of your tour?
And maybe I did see it, and I didn't know what it was, but, I mean, we really weren't in the city that much. We were kind of on the outskirts, but, I mean...
It should be Alcatraz. They should name it the Nancy Pelosi Federal
don't do Alcatraz
facility.
Don't do Alcatraz like that. I guess because they're both historic and ancient, so
right.
I guess you could do that. But no, Alcatraz was a great time.
Well, I'm sure it's cool to see.
Yeah, they serve alcohol on the boat.
I'm just saying, I think everybody that profited off of U.S. aid should go to the Nancy Pelosi Correctional Facility, and you can use Alcatraz if you want.
Cells are still there.
We can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Showers are there.
Yeah, and of course people are complaining. Jackie Spire from California, she's a congresswoman, told ABC7 it's another example of how he being, I guess, Donald Trump, is coming after Democrats. He's coming after California, and it's all about payback. Is it really about payback, or is it just that the people that run California and the leaders that come out of California are the problem, Jackie? Right? I mean, is it Donald Trump's fault that there wasn't sufficient water in the hydrants when Southern California was burning down? Right? Is that Donald Trump's fault? Is it Donald Trump's fault that your state is so badly fiscally managed that as soon as anyone can get out of California, they do? They move to Arizona, Colorado, wherever else. Is it Donald Trump's fault that they did the most obnoxious thing that I ever see in government, which is name a building after someone who's still alive, right? I mean, who names something after someone that's still alive? It's silly. It's silly.
What would you name it?
What would I name it?
Yeah.
I'd name it the Ronald Reagan building for why did we spend money on this building? If you're not going to sell it, that's what you should call it. After an actual great Californian, and also make a point at the same time. How about the Richard Nixon building?
How about we just skip all that and just call it the Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold?
Yeah, just call it the Arnold.
Nah, I don't like Arnold anymore. After he criticized the Orange Man.
I mean, he was a good California person.
Well, I mean, he was better than what they have now, which is an extremely low bar.
Gavin Newsom, yeah.
You know, like the carjacker is better than the cannibal, I guess, right?
Mm.
But they're all species of criminal.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this building is going to go for, but apparently they're gonna unload it.
I saw something. I was just reading the article about it, or a article about it. Never mind. It did not. It doesn't say the price. It just says the square footage.
Just the square. What is the square footage?
It is 640,000 square feet.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Offering for 640,000 square foot Nancy Pelosi federal building and a century-old 360,000 square foot building currently serving as the General Services Administration's headquarters.
Okay.
So he's selling 2.
I mean, look, I don't know what the building costs, but San Francisco is an extremely expensive zip code. So I'm going to say that it's quite a bit of coin. That's a multi-million-dollar building.
144 million.
There you go. So how many veterans could we feed with 144 million instead of having a vanity project for Nancy Pelosi?
It opened in 2007 at a cost of 144 million. Being considered by San Franciscans as one of the ugliest structures in their city.
They don't even like it.
That's,
actually, I take it back.
It is pretty ugly. Have you seen it?
It sounds kind of perfect for Nancy.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's not good.
It's hideous?
Yeah, the building apparently is an 18-story tower in an area that has been dealing with open-air drug dealing, illegal markets reselling stolen goods, and other crimes for years.
So it's basically Kensington West.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Kensington in San Francisco is called the Tenderloin.
I don't like that because I really like beef tenderloin.
Yeah, so
it's one of my favorite cuts.
Yeah, so when Belle and I were there,
This is hideous, by the way.
It's hideous.
It looks like an alien spacecraft.
Yeah.
Like pooped a spacecraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it landed on the streets of San Francisco, which is appropriate since people poop on the sidewalks in San Fran all the time.
Didn't see that in San Fran, but I will say about the Tenderloin. Belle and I were walking somewhere. We wanted to go to we were in Japantown, and we wanted to go to a bar.
Japantown? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, Japantown's great.
I mean, I guess Chinatown, Japantown, yeah.
They have Chinatown, Japantown, Koreatown, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
great little area. We were going to a bar, and we were walking, and she's like, this place looks familiar, because there were just people shooting up on the side, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. And she's like, we're in the Tenderloin. This is the one place I told you to be out, to be careful for, and that's where we ended up.
And that's exactly where you went.
Yeah, that's where we ended up.
You don't want to walk to Temple University with me, but you're fine with the Tenderloin.
I didn't know it was the Tenderloin. I didn't know what to look out for. But, we went to a bar on the corner. That was pretty cool. We didn't walk out. We took a Waymo home, so it was pretty cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, open drug market. Nancy Pelosi. Hell yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe we could turn this into a museum devoted to explaining to school children why leftism is a failure. Like, hey, look at this hideous building we spent all this money on. And you could have a whole exhibit devoted to Nancy Pelosi. All of her corruption, all of the horrible bills that she forced down the throat of the American taxpayer. You can have a little exhibit for that guy that was wearing his underwear, wielding a hammer, right? The whole Nancy Pelosi story just spelled out for another generation.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I'm pretty sure he either was convicted or pled guilty of something, but I'd have to look that up. I have to confirm that.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT as we come down to the close of our numero uno for our bilingual listeners here on the Matt Rooney Show. But don't get your panties in a twist. 2 more hours left to go. Mike Inganamort is going to join us in the next hour, and plenty more still ahead tonight on 1210 WPHT. See you in a sec.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When you need need to know. Depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Philadelphia's Catholic community prays for Pope Francis. He remains in critical condition with a complex lung infection, also showing signs of early kidney failure. Texas sees its largest measles outbreak in more than 30 years. Health authorities confirming 90 cases there.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Don't know who to trust? Go with the sure thing. PJ Fitzpatrick has been your trusted roofer for 45 years. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. The PJ Fitzpatrick team of experienced professionals installs most roofs in just one day. Set up a free consultation this month to save thousands. Plus, they have a variety of financing offers that work with any budget. Don't wait. TrustPJ.com today. That's TrustPJ.com.
Do you think that banking is boring? At PNC, we know that meeting the banking needs of the community is anything but boring. That's why PNC Bank geared up this year and introduced the mobile branch across the region to bring banking services to underserved neighborhoods. And long before that, PNC Community Development Banking was leading the way in investing in the economic health of our neighborhoods. To see the brilliant results that boring banking can deliver for you, stop into any PNC branch right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you. Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back, old friends, new frenemies, and all who lie elsewhere in between on the spectrum that is life. I am Matt Rooney, and this is the Matt Rooney Show, the one and only. Sometimes they try to copy it. We don't get angry about that. Imitation is a form of flattery. And we've built a heck of a little show here, folks, on Sunday nights on 1210 WPHT, and I am always honored. I feel privileged that you take your time on the day of rest, the family day, to cap it off with us here on our little station. Ain't so little anymore, though. This show's going all over the place. I actually ran into a fan the other day, Daniel.
Whoa.
Did I tell you this?
No.
I ran into a fan of our show.
Whoa.
Now, I don't want to embarrass anyone by letting people know they listen, because that could be a deeply embarrassing thing, depending upon the circles you run in. But long story short, I had some business interactions with this person. He said, hold on a second. Are you the same Matt Rooney that's on 1210 WPHT? And, again, I hesitated, but not really. I don't care. I said, sure. Yeah, that's me. Do you listen? And he goes, oh, yeah, I listen all the time. I got to tell you, though, your choice in music is interesting. Is that what you like to listen to? And
is this did he actually say this, or is this something you're adding in?
No, this is an actual thing. And the guy, and this is how you know that I'm being serious, the guy likes your music.
Oh, there you go.
He was complimenting it.
There you go.
And it wasn't Mango Mush over on YouTube, by the way. At least I'm pretty sure it wasn't Mango Mush. And I said, no, to be completely honest with you, it is not my preferred style of music, but that's basically part of my deal with producer Dan Valdez, that he gets to play his music, and that's part of how I get him to show up for work. Because he's dramatically underpaid. So there you go. Right? No lie in any of that, right?
Yeah, it's a real fan interaction right there. That's real.
That's real. It's raw.
Nothing fake about that one.
There's nothing fake about us here in this show. Everyone thinks we're putting it on, all our back and forth and everything. This is what we do off air. Right? This is what it is.
Yeah.
Why would we hide from our loyal listeners?
I don't get recognized, but it's fine.
Well, it wasn't.
I wouldn't really want to be anyway.
Well, it wasn't by sight. It's because they recognize my voice.
Was it like a phone call, or was it like a...
Yeah, it was a phone call.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm talking to this person about something completely unrelated to what we do here, and they're like, hold on a second, Matt Rooney. Are you that Matt Rooney? And I said, yeah.
They didn't see the name?
What do you mean they didn't see the name?
Well,
they knew who they were talking to.
Right, they knew who they were talking to, but they didn't be like, oh, this is the Matt Rooney. Like, how many other Matt Rooneys are out there?
Well, but it's not as specific a name as, like, let's use an example, Rich Zioli.
Right.
Or Nick Cale, right? Those are how many Cales do you know? How many Ziolis?
How many Rooneys do you know?
A Rooney's a fairly common name.
I know one.
Well, you don't get out very much.
I know one.
And that's enough for you.
Yeah.
One Rooney's enough for any man.
Yeah.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think it's a more generic name. It's a more generic name. So that was fun. But in any event, yeah, for anybody that's curious, no, Dan and I do not have the same taste in music. I just let him get away with it because I want him to come in. So it's that simple. 855-839-1210 is the number over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Signs of Autumn. Hi, Signs of Autumn. Signs of Autumn was, I think, talking with me on Friday in the Zioli program about whiskey. Or was that Monday? I filled in for Rich on Monday and Friday. I can't remember Signs of Autumn, but I did have some Woodford Reserve this weekend, if you're curious. Kimmy, hi, Matt. Woot, woot. Right back to you, Kimmy. Woot, woot. Gary says Mickey Rooney. Yeah, I mean, Mickey Rooney's probably not a name that resonates with the newer generation, but yeah, if you're of a certain age and up, very famous Rooney. There's the Pittsburgh Rooneys. As an Eagles fan, I don't really like to talk about that, but that own the Steelers. Why are you looking at me like I'm bothering you?
I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know these people personally.
I know you
But
don't.
I'm talking specifically, how many other Matt Rooneys are out there? Not just Rooneys, Matt Rooneys.
Well, there's a guy named Matt Rooney that writes for Bleacher Report.
Ah, that's right, there is.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a Matt Rooney that writes for Bleacher Report.
You know,
so
but
if you're a fan of sports.
But if you do type in Matt Rooney on Google, you're like the first thing that pops up. It says Matt Rooney -editor.
I'm the chief Matt Rooney.
The chief Matt Rooney.
The head Matt Rooney.
Yeah, you type in Matt Rooney on Google. Your Twitter comes up, Save Jersey comes up, your LinkedIn comes up. Like literally, like it's just you. And
it's a prestigious thing to be the number one Matt Rooney in the world.
Yeah, and then there's some weirdo Matt Rooney 23 Twitter. Who's that?
There's one Matt Rooney.
Who was that?
On Twitter who is from, I think, the UK, and he is some kind of scout leader in the UK. And people have sometimes in the past tagged him by accident because I think he's just at Matt Rooney. I'm at Matt Rooney NJ. And I get the impression that the guy doesn't share my politics. I think it annoys him a little bit.
There's a Matthew Rooney for the George W. Bush Presidential Center. I don't know what he does. It's just...
I think there was a Matt Rooney that was an ambassador.
He's a writer. That's
yeah,
what it is.
But I think there was an ambassador named Matt Rooney. Gary says the Rooney Tunes cartoons. You want a quick little bit of Matt Rooney trivia, Gary? My dad, back in the day, a long, long time ago, before I was even a twinkle in his eye, owned a record store called Rooney Tunes. So check that out. Wouldn't that be fun, Daniel? You would have worked at Rooney Tunes.
Rooney Tunes.
Rooney Tunes. Yeah. You'd have been a star employee.
You are now my elite employee.
Can I bring the mood down a little bit here?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure the Pope is going to die. Just FYI.
Rip.
Apparently he's in critical condition. Look, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. He's been dealing with pneumonia, which we know is something that's not unusual in the elder population. Pope Francis, I want to say, is 88. And now it's been reported by the AP today that the Pope has showed early signs of kidney failure. Now, for
he gonna die.
Well, yeah, I mean
he gonna die.
That's the thing. I mean, for anyone that has ever dealt with an elderly parent, grandparent, whatever, when you get to the point of kidney failure, I mean, that's it. That's the show. You have somebody in their 50s or 60s, you do dialysis, right? Somebody that's 88, look, this is just my opinion. I don't have any sources at the Vatican or anything, so I don't want you freaking out on me. But if he really is in kidney failure, we're probably talking about when he dies here, not if he's going to die in the near future, which is going to set off an interesting chain of events, because this Pope has been extremely controversial. I will tell you, and regular listeners know, I am a Catholic.
But has he asked for $27 for a world tour?
He has not asked for $27 for a world tour. Bernie Sanders here. I need $27 to get the Pope a kidney. Only $27. The Pope is not. I'm not a fan of this guy. He's a socialist, a European-style socialist, even though he's from South America. He's been vocally anti-American, which is relatively a new phenomenon with the papacy. The last couple popes, John Paul II and Benedict, were very pro-West, pro-U.S. Not so with this guy. So I'm not a fan, but that doesn't mean that I wish him ill, right? He's not a particularly great guy. I don't think that necessarily makes him evil. I do hope that the next pope returns to the tradition of John Paul II and Benedict, at least insofar as recognizing that why the Pope should always be a little bit above politics, right? He's supposed to be the vicar of Christ. He's not supposed to be a campaign manager or an advocate for any one cause or party. The cause of the West is still the cause of Christianity, right? If we live in a world where America's enemies triumph, America's enemies are predominantly countries and regimes that are hostile not just to Christianity, but to religion, period. Right? I mean, how well is the Catholic Church or any church treated in China, right? China's a communist country.
China.
Yes, and if you live in China, you serve the China regime, right? Led by Winnie the Pooh. So do you think a Chinese century is good for Catholicism? Do you think it's good for the flock, all of the souls that the Pope's responsible for? No.
China.
Do you think socialism, right, which is inextricably linked with
China.
atheism? Do you think
China.
Did you get your finger stuck on the button or something like that?
China.
Sorry. I thought you were doing like you're going to pause and I was going to say,
China.
You know what I mean? It's like
it is infectious.
It's like, oh, they don't want to be like
China.
They'd be like, okay, cool.
It's on my top 10 list of things that I missed when Trump was gone.
China.
I missed him talking about China. I did. But do you think that if socialism ultimately triumphs in Europe and the United States, it's pretty much triumphed in Europe, and we were darn close to it winning here in the United States in this last election, had Kamala Harris and creepy Tim Walz succeeded, what do you think the fate of the Catholic Church would be then? We know what's happened. We've been talking a lot about USA tonight. Not only is the Pope himself a socialist, but the American Church, it pains me to say this, as an American Catholic, has basically gotten bought off by the federal government. The Catholic Church receives oodles and oodles of cash and benefits directly from uncontrolled illegal immigration. So the church, like any business here in this country, now that the spigot is being turned off, it's another group that's turning on Donald Trump, the bishops, the American bishops, with very few exceptions, some notable exceptions, but very few exceptions. So it's all very distressing. So look, pray for the Pope because, he's a human being and you should never wish physical ill on another human being. You leave judgment to the Lord Almighty, but here on earth, right, we do judge people for their actions, and we hope that the next Pope is one that actually serves the cause of human liberty. God's greatest gift, this is just one man's opinion, I'm not trying to preach to you, is free will, right? Yes, he breathed life into your lung, but he also gave you an incredible gift to choose your own path. If the enemies of freedom in our world, who this Pope is constantly apologizing for, and he's constantly advocating for their ideas, ever actually triumphs, right? That's not a good thing for the people of God, no matter how you pray, no matter where you live. So we need a Pope that understands that.
Get a 30-year-old in there.
That's the challenge, right? You and I were talking about this before the show tonight. You get a 30-year-old Pope, you're stuck with him for 50, 60 years, even if he ends up being a disaster.
Sucks for them.
Sucks for who?
Sucks for them.
Well, it sucks for everybody. Even if you're not a Catholic, you got to acknowledge the fact that the Pope's a pretty significant world figure.
What does the Pope even do?
What does he do?
Yeah.
Well, he wears white after Labor Day.
Only person.
That's one thing that he does.
Yeah.
That's one thing that he does, yeah. He's supposed to be a moral authority.
But, realistically, what does he do?
What does he do?
Yeah.
Well, he's the lead. Well, let's break it down. So, first and foremost, he's the spiritual leader of what, like 2 billion people? How many Catholics are there? A lot of Catholics in the world, right? Probably a billion Catholics. Plenty of other Christian faiths look to him as a significant figure, even if they don't follow him in the same way that Roman Catholics do. And he's also the absolute monarch of the Vatican City, the smallest country in the world by population and by landmass, but has a ton of tourism. He's the president, the king, the emperor, the prime minister, all rolled into one. So he's a pretty significant figure. And obviously people have strong feelings depending on your faith about whether or not he's a authority for theology, but that's not the point. This is a political show. This isn't a theology show. The Pope is an important guy in world politics. And when you've got a good Pope, like John Paul II during the Cold War, right, standing with the Solidarity movement, pushing back against communism, the Pope can be extremely influential for the cause of good. When you've got a bad Pope, well, it's a lost opportunity. So just throwing that out there. Busy hour ahead here on our program as we continue to monitor what's happening across the globe. We're going to be joined in a little bit by Assemblyman Mike Inganamort, my buddy from North Jersey, who's going to talk to us about a New Jersey version of Doge. He and a bunch of legislators want to make it happen. Will it happen? What have they found so far? You'll find out tonight here on The Matt Rooney Show. Don't move a muscle.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Hey, Dawn Stenslin, you've heard me talk for years about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding, how much I love the work they've done in my home. You know by now, if I needed new windows, doors, siding, I would only trust the Chapman team. What you may not know is that Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding can also replace your old roof. Yes, they have you covered, literally. Family-owned and operated Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. They've been around for more than 30 years. And they have more than 240 Google reviews, which speak to their reputation for high-quality workmanship, customer service. They spend the time to understand your needs and educate you on your options. They also have financing available right now, which you can leverage to make your new roof or other remodeling projects a reality. Whether you or somebody you know are looking for a new roof, windows, doors, siding, shutters, give them a call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Not yet. Do it today. Okay. At 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
The Matt Rooney Show. And I am the aforementioned Matt Rooney. Trucking along here on this Sunday evening. Happy that you are with us. Lots of stuff happening this Sunday night. We're doing the best we can to keep up with it all. Ailing popes. Drama around the globe. Elections in Germany. We just keep on going. This is an interesting track. Who's this?
This is My Chemical Romance.
Oh, okay. I've actually heard of that.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable for your music if I've actually heard of them. That's huge.
How could you not hear of them?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my head is pretty firmly in the sand when it comes to most music produced after, like, the mid-'90s, so.
Yeah, they were right after 9/11.
Yeah. God, 9/11 was so long ago. Another story for another time, though.
What do you mean? That story already happened. We know what happened.
Well, right. My point is how much time has transpired, right? Yeah. Let's move away from that, though, and give you some good news this evening, because we've been talking about some dark stuff. Joy Reid is out of a job, which is kind of awesome, right? The great correction.
It's not very joyful.
Continues. It's not very joyful.
Not very joyful of her.
Yeah, not joyful. You've seen it, and it's been very pronounced in recent weeks, that these corporations, whether they be MSNBC and its parent company, or, you know, the Disney Corporation, which is now moving away from putting those obnoxious trigger warnings in front of classic cartoons like Dumbo and Peter Pan. Corporate America isn't any less woke, but they're deciding to present as a little less woke because they recognize, after what we just all witnessed in November, that it's not profitable. The American people are not nearly as far left as they hoped they were becoming, and they were trying to drag them in that direction. And so they're correcting. And on MSNBC and CNN, they have very little choice because their ratings have completely cratered. There are probably weeknights where 1210 WPHT, our listenership rivals what some of these MSNBC programs are getting. Which, look, 1210 WPHT, we ain't a slouch station, right? We're a top 10 market. We've got a large following because of the magic of the internet and the podcast. Obviously, that following goes well beyond this listening area.
One of the only remaining talk stations within the country.
More or less, right?
Yeah. One of the only legacy stations, I should say.
One of the only legacy stations. So you have to consider all that. But still, we're talking about MSNBC, right? A major network with national reach. And they're collapsing. So they've ultimately decided, you know what, maybe we need to mix it up a little bit. And now Joy Reid is out of a job. And that's too bad, so sad. She's a horrible person. And if you need to be reminded of how terrible she is, just listen to cut number 6 in the lead up to the election results of 2024.
We begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
Lovely lady.
Like I said, she seems joyful.
Yeah, total peach. Yeah, I mean, is it perhaps in retrospect, should it be that surprising that didn't sell? Right? People were just getting tired of the vile comments, the ad hominem attacks, the lack of substance, and the unapologetic manipulation of history to try to slander a great American leader and the people that follow him, right? As Trump has said many times, they're coming at me because they have to get through me to get to you. But that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Joy Reid's idiocy. And I thought it might be appropriate tonight because she's out of a job, at least for now. I'm sure she'll show up with her own, YouTube channel or something like that.
I don't know. She's probably going to do the whole Don Lemon thing.
Yeah. Yeah, which how well is that going for Don Lemon, right?
He was at the Super Bowl.
So because he's at the Super Bowl, that means he's doing well?
I didn't say all that. I just said he was at the Super Bowl.
He's at the Super Bowl. He's showing up anywhere he could possibly get in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Don Lemon misses the limelight. But let's revisit some of Joy Reid's more idiotic comments, right? Which it really is difficult to curate this because she has made so many over the course of time. Here's one of my favorites. She called 2024 Missouri a slave state because in her view, pregnant women are the property of their husbands in Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah. She once told her viewers that American red states only keep African Americans alive so that they can serve food to white people and fill their factories while the persons filling the factories say naughty things about them. She admitted she was fine with Kamala Harris picking Tim Walz as her running mate because even though he's white, he is not, here's the exact quote, her words, not mine, mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread white like other potential white candidates.
Like who?
Can you, I don't know, but can you imagine a white commentator on one of these stations saying that about a black person, a black candidate, a black politician? Woo! last year, I guess it was 2024, she attacked Major League Baseball for its lack of diversity because only 6% of MLB athletes are black. So there's that
Majority of them are Hispanic. Does she know that?
I don't think she cares. I don't think she cares, Daniel.
It's also the same with the NHL. There's a small percentage of them that are black in the NHL.
And you being 186th
right.
Hispanic.
I would know. It's my sport. But, like, you literally look at any baseball lineup, you'll be like, oh, there's so much of the, so much of the Hispanics. You go to football. Well, that's, like, not really inclusive because it's less majority of whites. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she's talked repeatedly about white male tears. She said that the billionaire right is laboring behind the scenes to try to bring apartheid to California. I could keep going. She laughed on air over the idea that parents would be concerned about their kids' safety following what happened to Lake and Riley. She attacked Florida. I mean, when you consider just how many states she's attacked, is it any surprise that she's not on the air anymore? She's alienated half the country's population just with some of these ridiculous comments. I mean, the list, it's ponderous. And you would hope that at some point, for the sake of our republic, at least some people on the left would begin to wrap their minds around the idea that this type of talk is not only injurious to our country, but also it's not a good idea for them. They're making themselves irrelevant because no one takes them seriously anymore. But they're not quite there. Some folks in boardrooms are beginning to get there, like what's happening over at the Disney company, apparently. They're trying to gradually walk back some of their lefty DEI excess. It's not because they're good people. It's because, contrary to their socialist rhetoric, they care about the almighty dollar. It looks like over at MSNBC, Joy Reid, ironically, may have been a casualty of that company's care for their bottom line. Matt Rooney here on The Matt Rooney Show. Let's take a break, and when we return, let's talk about New Jersey's bottom line. A New Jersey Doge could be in the working. Assemblyman Mike Inganamort going to tell us all about it.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Elon Musk. Not necessarily going to align with conservative family values, is he?
The new GOP doesn't care, by the way. It's
True.
like they've thrown those family values out the window. I'd have his baby.
God's honest truth, for $22 billion, I'll sleep with Elon Musk. I'll take one for the team.
There's always a price.
I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I will take one for the team. And my wife would sign off on it. She'd go. She said, go stay for a week.
That's right. That's right. Nick had Elon's baby.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day?
If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
I think this could be a really cool track for the spaceport on Mars that Elon's going to construct eventually. Has an otherworldly vibe to it.
It's good. See? You like some of my music.
No, some of your music is, how would I describe it?
That's interesting.
It's interesting.
Luckily, you're not listening to it.
Alec agrees. You know what you should do? Well, actually, you're not. I was going to say remember, but you're not old enough for this. There was a time when we used to make mixtapes or CDs.
I know what mixtape
for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have a girlfriend in high school or something, she'd make you a CD.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should make me a CD. Not that we're dating. But I think it'd be a nice thing to do.
It's called a Spotify playlist.
Well, right now it's all online.
Yeah.
But I think that cheapens it in some way because you're not physically giving something to someone.
True.
There was something very intimate about, like, if you're a friend or you're dating somebody, like, hey, like, here's a CD I burned for you.
Yeah, doesn't even burn CDs anymore.
Yes, actually, I'll give you an example. A lot of discovery in legal cases still gets burned on CDs and sent in the mail. Increasingly, they're moving away from that, thank God. They're uploading things into clouds, but
also just want
it still happens.
I want to put it out there. It's Bella's music taste. Those are from her. Those are her 2 songs. So it's not like I'm listening to those on the road constantly, but those are her songs. So I'll give her credit.
Road Warrior popped into the chat over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. And says, he's blunt as he always is. He says, who the F is in control of the music?
Yeah, I am.
It's Daniel.
Yeah, like or not, I don't really care. You're not here for the music.
It is what it is. Like, look, if this was my program, which it's not, but if it was my program,
your name's not on it. So
it's not like it's on it or anything. You might hear some more classic rock, for instance, because I'm a classic rock guy, right? I'm 40. I'm from Jersey. It's what I grew up on. Yeah, but it's not my show. Dan's a tyrant. I should start saying the things about you that they're saying about Donald Trump. He's a fascist. He's a tyrant. He's not orange.
I can be.
You could be. Could be. Go tanning. Get a little spray tan going.
See me in the summer.
You don't get brown in the summer.
I do.
No, you don't.
I get a nice golden Latino tan.
No, you don't. I've seen you in the summer.
It was bad lighting in that place. You got me at the wrong time.
It was bad lighting.
It was bad lighting.
It was outdoors and it was daytime.
No, it was bad lighting. It's bad lighting.
You are so full. See, we can't say the S word on air. I'll
just dump it.
That's one of the naughty words. I'm going to start saying you're so full of USAID. That's going to be the the on-air safe alternative.
Kimmy wants to know who sang the last song, the 1975.
Yeah, whoever that is, Kimmy, that's the answer. Couldn't tell you.
1975. They are a British band. British. Who we saw 2 Novembers ago at the Wells Fargo Center.
Bella's in the chat. Lovely Bella. Dan's boo. For those who are new to the program, says I can confirm that Daniel does tan very well in the summer. Coming from someone more Hispanic than him. She is more Hispanic than you. But Bella, I don't know. I mean, I saw Dan. We all met up at a brewery down at the Jersey Shore was that 2 summers ago?
Yeah.
And Dan had been at the beach for a week, and he looked as pale as he does today.
You're such a liar.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said
such a liar.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said about what is that slanderous thing that Joy Reid said?
You're such a part of that slave
about
state,
white people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was. Let me tell you, I was more of a mustard than mayonnaise on the Wonder Bread. And let me tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of another a tan condiment, and that came out. I guess soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
So I'm definitely not mayonnaise on a Wonder Bread.
You're definitely not mayonnaise.
Take that back.
See, part of the reason you're a terrible producer is we got a guest on the line, and you're distracting me with this stuff.
Hey, man, it's
we got a job to do here.
That's up to you. You're the one who brings him in.
This is your show.
I just put him on the air.
This is a good guest. This is one of the good guys. For those who don't know him, he's one of the 2 assembly members up in New Jersey's 24th legislative district, which is Morris, Sussex, and Warren County, parts of it. He represents them in the General Assembly. He's on multiple committees, including Oversight and Reform, which keep that in mind because that's going to be relevant in a second. But he's not someone that spent his whole life in Trenton. He's the former mayor of Chester Township, New Jersey, where him and his wife are raising their 3 daughters. Can you imagine 3 daughters? That is no mean feat, folks. That's no easy task. So he must be a special guy, and he is. Mike Inganamort, Assemblyman Mike Inganamort, joins us tonight on the Matt Rooney Show. Michael, how are you, sir?
I am hanging in there, Matt. I am laughing at the 2 of you, though. I don't even know what to say about half the things you're talking about.
Good. That's what we try to do.
That's the official slogan of the show.
I'll say this. You were talking about the mixtapes when I first hopped on, and you just gave my wife a plug. Let me tell you, I did make a mixtape for somebody I liked back in the day, and I call her my wife now. So it can be done. It can be done.
It worked, clearly, right?
It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
Now, can I ask you if you remember what was on it?
You cannot ask me because I don't.
Fair enough.
Not a clue. Not a clue, but it worked. So that's the important part.
I was gonna say it got you in the door. That's all that matters. So I am excited because even though we're not going to bury the lead here, right? At the moment,
sure,
Democrats have a stranglehold on Trenton, so that means that it's very tough to get any quality idea through the legislature, let alone trick Governor Murphy into signing off on it. But this is an election year in New Jersey. The governor's mansion is on the line. The entire assembly in which you sit is going to be on the ballot in just several short months. And if Republicans do well, this idea that you're a part of could become a reality. And tell me if I'm oversimplifying it. What you've proposed, along with some of your colleagues, Krista Phillips, I know is one of them. Jan Azaridi is another one. I think Dawn.
Alex Sawicki. Yep.
Alex Sawicki. I think the LD13 team, Vicky and Jerry down in Monmouth County. It's a New Jersey version of Doge, right?
It is. It is. And listen, Matt, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. Doge is the word of the day, word of the month. But as you were saying, we got Governor Murphy for another 10 months. We got a Democratic majority in the Assembly, just shy of 2-1 for the next 10 months. So we're under no delusions here. So number one, that reinforces the importance of the elections this year.
Yes.
My God, do we need a Republican governor and a Republican majority in the Assembly? But, let's just operate for the next 10 months here with the status quo we have. I don't care what you call this bill, Doge or otherwise. This is good old-fashioned cutting wasteful spending, which is something you've been at this as long as I have. How many years, how many decades have we been listening to politicians say we need to cut wasteful spending? It's just something that rolls off the tongue, right? Yeah. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We got to do something about it. You say it on the stump, and then nothing happens. It's become this sort of talking point that you check the box. To Republicans and Democrats. I'm willing to bet, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm sure Governor Murphy paid lip service to cutting wasteful spending at one point in his 2 campaigns, right? Because it's a meaningless phrase, and voters have become so, I don't want to say cynical, but because politicians have never delivered on the promise, the expectations were so low. So for the first time, certainly in as long as I can remember, you see some movement, some action out of the federal government down in Washington, D.C. through this DOGE, where there actually is some wasteful spending, number one, being identified and stopped from future funding. They're not even at the point of cuts yet, if you want to get technical. We're just talking future funding out at the federal level.
Correct.
So all that being said, Matt, if they can do it in Washington, I think we can do it in New Jersey, call it whatever you want, but everyone in that state house has said they would cut wasteful spending at one point or another in their campaigns. I guarantee it. Here's your chance. Put up or shut up. Let's create the process to do that.
And you just hit the nail directly on the head here, which is that in New Jersey, we have a crisis of confidence in our government because for so many years we've heard our politicians talk about cutting wasteful spending, doing something about property taxes, and my property taxes continue to rise, and the wasteful spending continues. Not only status quo, but continues to increase as our budget explodes. I mean, I think our budget is like twice what it was at this point from when Chris Christie left office, which isn't that long ago. So there's clearly an appetite in our state and in the country as a whole for someone to actually finally do what they promised. And that's why I love this idea, because not only do we now have this group of scrappy Republican legislators that are actually threatening to do that, right? What a concept. But also these Democrats need to be put on the spot and they need to explain themselves. How can you argue against some of these cutting proposals that are going to be put on the table when people in this state are suffering, and we know a lot of New Jerseyans are suffering right now? I know that you're a guy that's experienced in government as a reformer. You are serious about this proposal. Do you have some examples of the waste that you and your colleagues have identified already that New Jersey taxpayers are having their money blown on?
Absolutely. I came with the receipts, as they say. There's plenty of examples. I narrowed it down to 5. And I'm going to give them to you, Matt, but I want to say one thing first, because I think there's an important data point for you and your listeners to file in the back of your minds here. You said that the budget has nearly doubled. That's correct. It went from about $35 billion to just shy of $60 billion in Governor Murphy's 7 short years. And when we Republicans call him out on that, he says, no, it's true that spending went up, but that's only because I, Governor Phil Murphy, am finally making full pension payments. That's the reason. Well, guess what? That's BS. Because what happened at the same time is that pork spending, they call it pork in Washington, we call it Christmas trees in New Jersey, that increased, Matt, in the 7 years Governor Murphy has been in office, 1,600%.
1,600%.
Easy number to remember. 1,600. Think of it that way. 1,600% is the increase in pork spending during Governor Murphy's tenure. So we're not just talking pension payments here. We're not talking entitlement programs, et cetera. We're zeroing in on what we would call waste. It's up 1,600%. I got some examples. You ready?
Lay them on us. I'm not sure I'm going to be happy about any of this, but people need to hear it, right?
They do. Listen, I'm going to start with relatively small one, emphasis on relative. Remember the Rutgers football team spent $440,000 on DoorDash? Yes. Remember that story?
Yes, which I'm sure those guys can eat, but over $400,000? Come on.
Well, maybe they can, but that to me is I start with that one, Matt, because that's not just a simple line item. That's not your typical Christmas tree or pork item that you can zero in on the budget and say, aha, let's just take out the $440,000 to DoorDash. No, it's a little more complicated. It's a little more wonky, nuts and bolts of government, and that's precise because it's coming out of various accounts. That's why I say that. It's not just a line in the budget. So you really need to drill down, go deep, get into that granular detail, and that's what DOGE is doing in Washington, right? It's not just surface level. They go deep. They go beyond just what you read in the federal budget and public sources. You got to drill down. That's a good one. I start with that. We don't need to blow $500,000 on DoorDash. I'm going to keep going, and you're going to cut me off when you have to. While we're picking on Rutgers,
this is like a shiatsu massage, by the way. Like, it's necessary, but it's painful.
It is, Matt. Rutgers, right? $19 million on DEI. $19 million on DEI programs. And you see what's happening with DEI elsewhere in the country, right? Businesses, private companies, other universities, they're dialing that back. They're going back to merit-based. We don't have that yet in New Jersey. We don't have any indication that the Rutgers of the world intend to do that, at least not willingly. So that's another area where I think a DOGE could really zero in. $19 million.
$19 million.
You go over.
God.
Unbelievable. We're going to stay in education for a second. This is not a budgetary number, but did you know that the New Jersey State Department of Education has 1,000 employees? 1,000 employees work for the New Jersey State Department of Education. What do they do? What do they do? That's not a rhetorical question. I think we should know, what specifically do each of those 1,000 people do? Is it justified? Maybe it is, but I want to hear that. I want to hear it be justified. We have more than 600 school districts in this state with boards of education, with superintendents, with principals, with vice principals, on and on and on. We have 1,000 state employees of the Department of Education on top of that. We got to look into that. What is the purpose of that?
I would like to see each of them get an email akin to what Elon Musk just sent out. Like, listen, I'm not trying to be combative. Some of you, as you say, may be able to easily justify your existence, but I want to hear what you did in the last week. Did you just shuffle textbooks around in a warehouse, or did you actually provide some value-added benefit for the students in New Jersey? I have a feeling at least a few hundred folks in that building don't need to be there, but we won't prejudge. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. We'll listen, and there's some truth to that, Matt. We are here to ask the question.
Yes.
Give us a justified answer, and then we all, I'm saying the legislature, the governor, whoever the governor is, can make an informed decision. Right now we're on autopilot, assuming, taking it on faith, that we need 1,000 people in the State Department of Education supervising. That's around 40, it's between 40 and 50 employees per county. I can tell you up in Sussex County or maybe down in Salem County, are they feeling the impact of 40 to 50 employees from the state focused on their schools? I don't think so.
No way.
All right, let's see. I got two more. You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to need some aspirate at the end of this, but keep rolling. Keep rolling.
These are both transportation related. I'm on the transportation committee, and I would say I like these issues, but as you said, they require some heartburn medicine. New Jersey Transit's new headquarters, $506 million. That's $500 million on a 25-year lease, when they could have spent less than half of that to renovate their existing headquarters, or I should say their former headquarters. $506 million on a sparkling new headquarters in Newark.
And how long is that lease for?
25 years.
Oh my God. Dan, what did the Nancy Pelosi building cost?
$144 million.
$144 million. That's multiple times the cost to buy the Nancy Pelosi building out in California. Now, I know the Nancy Pelosi building is pretty hideous, so maybe this is a prettier office space. But again, what did they need it for?
What do they need it for? I'd like to know how many employees are going to be working there, or were or are working in their former headquarters. And as I said, Matt, they could have renovated their former headquarters for $180 million. All right, that's real money too, don't get me wrong. But to spend more than double that on a new headquarters down the road? Why? Justify it.
Insanity.
Justify it. Last one is this Easy Pass contract, which I know you're aware of, where the state has basically awarded a contract, Matt, to a company that is owned by a company in Singapore that does business with the CCP, the Communist Party in China, and it is a $1.7 billion contract. And if you set aside, I say this with tongue firmly planted in cheek, if you set aside the connection to the Chinese Communist Party, the other bid, Matt, was $250 million less from an American company based in Trenton.
And that American company has had the contract for a good amount of years, if memory serves.
Something like 22 years they've had the contract. And they could do the work for $250 million less. justify it. They need to justify these things, and that's what a Department of Government Efficiency is going to force these people to do, because clearly and apparently our governor is unwilling to do it.
He's unwilling to do it, and I want to hear an explanation from every single legislator that's going to be on the ballot in 2025. What concern could you possibly have with this proposal? Unless, as we suspect, and I'm not even going to say suspect, let's not insult people's intelligence. We know many people in that chamber in which you sit, Assemblyman, aren't actually serving the people and aren't accountable to the people that they supposedly represent. They work for special interests. They work for powerful party bosses. They're trying to protect that swamp in Trenton, which is literally bleeding us dry. So, look, it goes without saying, I think that this is a fantastic proposal. I've shared it on my website, savejersey.com, but we'll also make sure we tweet it over here. And at some point, I'd love to get you and a bunch of your colleagues together that are sponsoring this legislation to do a deeper dive into the bill. Let me ask you this question before we let you go here at the end of the hour. Have you had any feedback from your Democrat colleagues on this proposal, good, bad, or indifferent?
I'm sorry to laugh, Matt. The answer is no, we have not. A funny thing is happening. And this is despite what you said at the top, where, on paper, Democrats should be attracted to this. Yeah. We've all promised, they've promised, we've promised, everybody's promised to cut wasteful spending. This is a way to do it. Put up or shut up. I tell you what, if I was an enterprising Democrat in a swing seat, you bet I'd sign up for something like this, right? Who could argue against it? Sadly, the answer is no. We have not gotten any interest from any of our Democratic colleagues. I frankly think many of them are afraid of their own shadow at this point, since Donald Trump did remarkably well in the presidential election just a few months ago. I think they're running scared. They know that the enthusiasm, the voter registration, the energy is on our side, and I just haven't found them willing to stick their neck out on anything yet. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get some Democratic support here. But I'm not going to be holding my breath.
I was just going to say, if you hold your breath waiting for that one, you're going to pass out. And then we would be without Assemblyman Mike Inganamort, everyone. One of the good guys up in New Jersey's fighting 24th legislative district. Here's what I will tell everyone heading into next year. As Mike mentioned, he and I have been at this for a long, long time. Save Jersey, I think we turned like 18 in May, which is crazy. We're finally getting closer because we have a nucleus of legislators in Trenton. It includes Mike. It includes his district mate, Dawn Fantasia. There's finally a critical mass of Republicans in that chamber who don't make us want to cry because they're actually doing what they promised they would do when we voted for them. So you got to start somewhere. And I think we've got to start as something big if New Jersey voters consummate this change in November. We shall see. But Assemblyman, we appreciate you joining us tonight with all of these painful but important anecdotes. And you have to come back soon, and we can talk more about 2025.
It's a deal. Matt, keep up the great work. I appreciate it.
Feelings mutual, my friend. Mike Inganamort, everyone. You're listening to The Matt Rooney Show. 1 hour left to go. Be back in a sec.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Walter Sterling.
It's so much fun to do this, especially when I get hate mail. I love the hate mail. Thank you. Please keep it coming. There's an adage in radio that if you don't get mail from people who hate your show, you're in trouble. I'm in no trouble. Not a problem.
Sterling. Every damn night. Sunday through Friday nights at 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Philadelphia's Catholic community prays for Pope Francis. He remains in critical condition with a complex lung infection, also showing signs of early kidney failure. Texas sees its largest measles outbreak in more than 30 years. Health authorities confirming 90 cases there.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to drive smarter with high-tech features and excellent reliability. It's time for intelligent design, plus exciting performance. Get a new vehicle you'll love. Check out the Honda Civic, Accord, or HR-V.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-1010. 800-885-1010. Again, that's 800-885-1010.
WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Greetings, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT, your hangout on Sunday nights. Preparing you for the week ahead by revisiting what matters from the week gone by. That's what we do for you. And we have some fun along the way as well. We laugh, we cry, we listen to Dan's music, which is becoming a little bit of a topic this evening.
This intro song is one of my music tastes.
I like the intro song.
Yeah, our old intro, I guess, got canned in the new year, and I didn't have a backup of it, so I was like, I gotta make a new one. So I came up with this. So I was like, new one, new song. Let's go with it.
Yeah, it works. It works. Not everyone's a fan of Dan's music, though. Hockey Mom over on X, which, by the way, you can follow me on X, Matt Rooney NJ. That's my handle. Says, Dan's music choices suck. I'd rather hear the classic rock. That's a reference to me saying in the last hour that I'm kind of a classic rock guy. If I
go to a different radio station.
Don't be mean to Hockey Mom. She listens.
Here's what I'm saying.
And it wouldn't kill. I'm just throwing this out here. And I'm not going to force this. It would not kill you when you consider all the music we play on this program to maybe once or twice every program play something that someone over the age of 25 would recognize. I'm just saying. You don't have to do it. I'm not going to make you.
So here's the deal.
Don't hurt me.
So here's the reason why. I feel like I have to explain this every week. Here's the reason why I choose the music that I choose.
And people bring it up. It's not me.
Right.
It's
One is because Greg plays all the classic rock on the morning show.
He does.
So people hear that 5 days a week for 4 hours.
They
Granted,
do.
it's not the full song. Dom also does it, I think. Rich also does it. So, like, every station on this show is playing some sort of classic rock. There's a whole station in Philadelphia dedicated to classic rock. If you want to,
because it's what people like.
Correct. There's a whole station dedicated to it. I play the music that I play because, one, this is a free speech station, so I'm freely able to express myself and my musical taste. And two, it's something different so people can explore new music tastes. If you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over again, it's just like, all right, this is getting a little boring. So I don't know what to tell you. Mute the intro. I don't know.
Well, Gary over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, he says he has noise-canceling earbuds for the music choices this evening.
That's crazy. If he has noise canceling earbuds, that means everything going through his earbuds are noise canceling. So
yeah, but Mangle Mush is defending you, and says that he's saying he's using naughty language, but he says that he's 53 and he supports your music. So
yeah, maybe
so the inference there is that you don't have to be young to appreciate what Dan plays.
Look, I mean, people can roast me about it all they want. I really don't care. I'm going to keep playing what I want. But, like, maybe it's just me and I have a weird music taste at 24. I don't know.
I think this is the consensus opinion from Suze. She says the music is fine to me, not my style, but fun to hear.
There you go. So a lot of music taste. I mean, I know the last couple songs I played have been Bella's music taste, but, you know, a lot of them are mine. A lot of them are mixed. So, and we played classic rock the first time I was here. You know, I was here and then I took a short break and then now I'm back. So the first time I was here, I remember I had a whole Rooney playlist that was just all classic rock, and I was like,
you did.
This is okay. But at Christmas time, I play weird and unique rock Christmas music. Halloween, I played weird Halloween music. So
you did.
I don't know. Yeah. Mike Drop even said, I can't believe it's an issue. I can't believe it's an issue either. But you know what I say? Pound sand and go sit in a room with spikes.
Ooh.
Good night, everybody.
And then Joseph says, whatever happened to playing to your audience? Well, I mean, I don't care.
He doesn't care. That's what it is.
The music of this show.
I feel like this is an episode of, like, Jerry Springer, rest in peace, where they would devote it to a theme, and it's like, I can't control my child. You know what I'm talking about?
That's what yeah. Like,
and they're all the audience reacting.
But the thing is, like,
you're walking out, giving me the finger.
Look, everyone is saying it. Like, you know, why is this an issue? People bring it up. It's like, it's not like it's the whole show. It's literally like 30 seconds to a minute of the opening segment, and that's about it. It's not like I use the same song over. I mean, I can go back to the generic music if you really want me to.
Can we do a poll? Are you okay with Dan's music?
No.
Don't say, do you like Dan's music? Because that's the wrong question. Because I'm okay with your music, but I don't like it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, and I know a lot of...
So the question has to be, are you okay with Dan's music choices?
And I know some people on Rich's... Rich also engaged my music thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put out a poll.
Yeah, we should do a poll. So, again, you can head over to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We want to know, do you like Dan's music? But more specifically, are you okay with Dan's music? You don't have to love it all, but is it a problem for you? Because if it's a problem for enough people, I mean, we're still probably not going to do anything about it.
If it's a problem for most people, maybe I'll consider changing it. But for the most part, no. Like I said, it's about a minute to minute 30 of just something that plays to bring us back in.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to vote.
I mean, you just said you're okay with it.
I am okay with it, but do I vote no just to kind of mix stuff up?
No, why would you do
to
that?
Be because I'm a troll too. You're not the only one.
Okay, do what you want. I don't care. I don't care.
All right, I'm gonna vote. Hold on. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. I have to sign in to do it.
You're the worst.
Well, I have it on. I have the YouTube feed up in 2 spots here. Let's see. I think I'm signed in over here. I'm gonna vote. Okay. All right, well, right now, a lot of people voted already. It's 60-40. They're okay with your music.
Yeah.
That's a landslide, no matter how you slice it.
Like I said, if it really bothers some people, then they need to apply to this job, and so they can just play music all they want. I don't see why this is an issue to some people. I don't know why this is such a controversial thing on the station. It's not like it's a music station when that's all we're playing. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
People feel strongly about these programs. They devote hours of their lives to these shows, and we appreciate them doing so.
And
so they're passionate about it.
Right, and that's why I play the music that I do, because if you're listening to the station all day long, you hear the same type of music all day long.
I mean, you see what people in the YouTube chat say about certain guest hosts that they like or don't like.
Right, and they all say that, Matt was okay. He's all right.
No, when I'm on, it's like they're calling their friends like, oh, my God, Rooney's on.
Yeah, okay.
Ring the bells.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who they judge?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's what you're saying. So head on over there and give us your vote, participate in democracy, blah, blah, blah. Let us know how you feel about it all. We're going to be joined a little bit later on the program this hour by Ben Manis from Broad and Liberty, one of our favorite publications in the Delaware Valley. More on USAID, but specifically a possible link between USAID and the funding of lefty prosecutors around the country. It's one of the worst things that the left has perpetrated in recent years. They've used substantial amounts of money to put Larry
I'm ending the
Krasner
poll.
type-
I'm ending the poll while I'm up ahead. So 6.
Did you really?
Yeah, 60% said yeah.
What is this? What is this?
You were stuck at like.
You're a tyrant. You're a fascist.
We're gonna stop the count. We're stopping the count.
Where's Joy?
Stopping the count.
Where's Joy Reid when you need her?
We
No,
were-
you can't do that.
It was stuck at 10 votes for a while. Who cares?
You ended it with 10 votes.
Who cares? Continue with your story.
Oh my God! I can't believe you did that.
This is such a small topic that doesn't need to be. Right. Thank you, Rashida Tlaib.
No,
That's what I also.
she's against you here.
I don't really care what she's against. She's against all of my morals too. So who really cares?
Oh my God! I'm sorry that this program has turned into a South American banana republic. Folks.
I just needed a rant for the day, and that was what it was. That's what it was.
Jeez.
Yeah. Someone said, "Call it the butthurt poll." Yeah, I am butthurt. What are you gonna do about it?
One of these weeks, I'm going to be in charge of my own program.
You can, man.
I think it's the thing to aspire to.
You can. You can come in here and run the board, run the stream. You can literally do everything just from
Yeah. But we'll have our buddy Ben Manis here in just a little bit. Speaking of butthurt, though,
we'll play Van Halen for the rest of the show. How about that?
Now, see what you folks did? You see what you did now? You got under the little guy's skin.
Well, that's what we'll do. From here on out, we'll play overrated Metallica.
Oh, man. Let's explore, though, a different species of butthurt here. I talked on Rich's show on Friday when I was filling in for Mr. Zioli a lot about Ukraine, but specifically how annoying it was that people weren't more annoyed by $100 million that just went $100 billion, that just disappeared. And by the way, there's an update on that. Zelensky is now saying the money that was given to the Ukraine was a grant, not a loan. This guy is such a shyster. It's such a shyster, and it regardless of how you feel about Russia, Putin, the conflict, whatever. How anyone's still defending this guy, I don't get it.
Did you see that?
He's like you, kind of, too. Like, you cancel votes abruptly. He won't hold a vote on his own.
I also go on Ukraine's Got Talent and jiggle my ding-a-ling around on stage.
I think that you would fit in very well in Zelensky's Ukraine.
Rightfully so. Did you see that he said that he would step down if it resulted in peace?
Let's do it.
No, did you hear him say that?
No, I did not hear him say that.
Yeah, he said that if it resulted to... if he had to step down or resign due to Ukraine and Russia going at a peace deal, he would do it. So
let's hold him to that.
Yeah. He also said that
I'm really annoyed that he continues to use the excuse of the war for not holding an election. You know which country held an election during the course of war? The United States of America. We held an election in 1864 when half the country was in ruins and in open rebellion. And that was in a day and age when you didn't have the internet, right? Elections were much more logistically complicated, right? You had horses and trains transporting ballots often on foot, and still we managed to do it. So what is Ukraine's excuse for not holding an election? If anything, the beauty and the majesty of election 1864 for the United States of America is it was an affirmation that a free country could hold an election, hold its leaders accountable, and continue to function in the midst of a conflict like that. So I know Zelensky's not the deepest person in the world, but if he's serious about defending Ukrainian democracy, whatever that means, he should consider taking a page out of Abraham Lincoln's book. Just saying. But I brought us to this point because I wanted to talk about whining and butthurtness, because that seems to be the theme of this hour.
Oh, that's because what I am? Yeah.
No, This is cut 8.
I think I'll do a wraparound.
I think that's my favorite hockey. This is David Brooks, right? The nominal conservative, appearing on PBS, complaining about Trump pushing Ukraine towards peace. You're hearing a lot of this these days. Get the Advil ready.
As long as the Cold War was going on, they didn't have to pay their dues. And so now they have to, because the Cold War is over. So that arrangement was bound to end. But they have upped their spending. The amount of spending that Donald Trump wants Europe to pay as a percentage of GDP, we don't even do that. So it's an act of hypocrisy to say they're totally at the wrong. They're somewhat at the wrong. But that's really not what the core is here. Look at what Donald Trump has been doing to Ukraine over the last week. He sends the Treasury Secretary in there, and he hands him a piece of paper, said, basically hand us over 50% of your mineral rights. That is, I'm making you an offer you can't refuse. Mm-hmm. That is what, in ancient Rome, they would go into a little country and say, give us all your money or we'll kill your women. Like that was like an imperial power saying, tribute, give us tribute. That's essentially what Donald Trump just did to Vladimir Putin. And initially, Putin said, hell no. But now it could be an offer he can't refuse because he needs the Americans. And so now they're, I guess, coming close to a deal because we're taking a country that was invaded, that bravely resisted on the behalf of the Western Alliance. We're saying pay up. And it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Donald Trump's been accused of many things. Now we're accusing him of being an ancient Roman tyrant. We've run out of recent day tyrants, right? We got tired of comparing him to Hitler and Mussolini and whoever else. Now we've got to go back to ancient Rome, Claudius or, Tiberius or any of the Augustus, right? Any of the tyrants of antiquity. It's just gotten so ridiculous. But listen for just a second here to what David Brooks is saying. He's suggesting that Donald Trump is somehow out of line for telling the Ukraine that, listen, we got to end this war. And if you want to continue to get money from us, how about coughing up, right? You're about giving us some minimal. Let me try this again. Mineral rights.
Mercy on earth.
Woo!
I think I'll do a wraparound.
Happens to the best of us, folks. Mineral rights, right? Somehow Trump is doing something mafia-esque. I mean, are you kidding me? We're talking about a guy, Zelensky, who went on international television and said that, we have no idea what happened to $100 billion that was given to us by this supposed ally, the United States of America, that we pretend to be so grateful to, but do nothing to assist them, right? When they ask us for some recompense for all of the assistance that they've given us. It's talk about the pot calling the kettle black, right? It's just crazy. And for a guy like David Brooks, who ain't the smartest guy in the world, but isn't a total moron, for him to say something like that and believe it, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. We have bled, not just treasure, but manpower in defense of Europe for decades now, right? World War I, World War II, the Cold War, now this conflict in Ukraine. How much more do they want out of us without having to contribute meaningfully? I mean, that was one of the themes of J.D. Vance's comments in Europe, and they had their, Wiener Schnitzel in a twist over what he had to say, but there was no lie in any of it. And this is just an extension. I think what we need to remember, though, is as much as these talking heads are squawking and crying about it, the American people are very clearly with President Trump on this one. There is a broad coalition that does not want to see America become any more enmeshed in a land war in Eastern Europe than we already are. Sometimes you need to fight, right? We've had those points in our history. The bombing of Pearl Harbor is the classic example, right, where free people have to go to war to remain free. This does not strike me as one of those times. But if you're going to support another country that's standing up to a guy like Putin, you would at least hope that there's some kind of accounting for the money you're giving them and how they've spent. I joked over the weekend, but I really wasn't joking, that, all right, Zelensky wants more money. He has to give Elon Musk and his Doge team, all of them, including our buddy Big Balls, right? He has to give them all access to the books. And if he won't do that, not another dime. I have a feeling that's one challenge Zelensky won't accept. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. Let's take a break. And when we come back, Ben Manis and a whole lot more in our third hour of tonight's program. Sit tight.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com.
The only thing worse than hiring no law firm after your injury is hiring the wrong law firm. And there are so many of them. When thousands of people call us every year asking to help them change law firms and hire us instead, I wonder why they ever called the other firm in the first place. They were smart to switch before it was too late. You only get one day in court. You know who has the resources and results to fight to handle your claim. And the big insurance company on the other side, they know it too. They know us well. You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. Walk our way. When you're fighting to get what you deserve, it's go big or go home. We are big for a reason, which is why we've recovered over $9 billion for our clients. When it comes to law, size matters. We're America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Valspar products make any project easy. Valspar Exterior Stain and Sealer makes preserving your fence a breeze. Valspar Reserve makes updating the den a piece of cake.
Red velvet.
And giving your siding new life with Valspar Defense is a walk in the park. So no matter what projects are on your list, Valspar has everything you need to make it a day at the beach. Valspar, made for more. Get it at Lowe's.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Free speech lives here. The Dumb Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
I like this one. It's fun.
You have no idea who this is, do you?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's Muse. It's more of your generation.
You know, maybe something, I'm not trying to give you extra work, but that would improve the general music education of the audience. You could post on Twitter, on X, a couple selections at the end of the show.
Van Halen.
Of music you played.
Van Halen.
No, you didn't. No. Stand up for yourself.
This is Muse.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Band.
Well, really? It's a band?
You asked.
Bands play music? Oh.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid.
Thank you.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Trucking right along this evening. Let's get to our second and final guest of the show. He's a reg here at 1210 WPHT, and for good reason. He's got 2.5 decades of experience in the public safety arena. His resume is lengthy, but as a consultant, as an expert, subject matter expert in operations and management. But you probably know him best, not just for his appearances here, but for his fantastic work over at Broad and Liberty, digging into issues impacting Philadelphia and our broader region, but specifically concerning corruption, crime, and law enforcement in the city of brotherly love. And he's got a great new article out that as soon as I read it, I said, we got to try to get him on this weekend. He is Ben Manis, and he joins us once again on the Matt Rooney Show. Ben, happy Sunday, man. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. A lot better over the past few weeks because it's just been endless entertainment. But it does seem like as we pull back the layers of the onion, particularly in reference to U.S. aid, the uglier it gets. Kind of like an onion, it makes you want to cry. And your article, it says it all in the title, Doge, U.S. aid, and the money behind progressive prosecutors. We've had questions for years about how these nut jobs are being funded. What have you learned?
Yeah, well, the anger I felt just in believing that Soros and big dollar donors from places like New York and Silicon Valley were buying out our elections in towns like Philly, St. Louis, Baltimore, Chicago, that was angering me enough. And then thanks to Elon and the Doge crew, what we found out is not just that billionaire hedge fund people are buying these elections, but guess who else is? You, me. And you live in Jersey, and you shouldn't even be paying for a Philadelphia election. But this should really make us all angry, because what Elon Musk has uncovered here is a massive money laundering scandal. And the MO, the stuff that I could not understand why, a billionaire hedge fund guy like George Soros would care so much to buy all these liberal prosecutors. And a lot of people say, well, he believes he wants to take over the world and reinvent there's a lot of conspiracy theory, reinvent the justice system in his image, and he really believes in these causes. But what it looks like is a gigantic money laundering scandal. And that's basically what Doge is. So, showing us, because in aid, we've seen this modus operandi that started with the change in how aid worked. So if you go back to my uncle, deceased now, was a U.S. aid executive director long time ago, back in the Cold War era. And they delivered giant bags of food to Ethiopia in places like that were having famines or some kind of strife. That's what they were doing. They were helping countries that were broke, right?
Things that are fundamentally unobjectionable, right? At least in the context of the time.
Yeah, and necessary. I mean, so if you look at Doge's history, Doge was a Kennedy administration agency, right? It was right off the bat. It was during the Cold War, and it was our ability, sort of like how China's doing Belt and Road right now. We would come in and deliver things like food and governance and policy and all this stuff to build up countries that were teetering on the domino effect. Like, we didn't want them turning communist when those were our big enemies back in, the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then right around the time the Clintons took over, so early 90s, there was a gigantic shift with the end of the Cold War on what U.S. aid became. And what it has definitely been since the Obamas has been this gigantic, they call it transformative justice machine, based on grants, basically money laundering out to unaccountable nonprofits. And there's two facets to this. One, these nonprofits, a lot of them that are controlled by George Soros, who is also a gigantic Democratic mega donor. Right, so he gives money to the candidate gets elected, and lo and behold, his foundations get 7, 8, 9 digits worth of funding for various, causes across the board. All these different foundations that he's ultimately the founder of, right? A lot of these things, they're media biased, so they'll go in and they'll do these social grants. So we looked down that list that Elon had. And the Elon list was ridiculous because we're like, why do they care about sex changes in Guatemala? Why do they care about, Serbian workplace equality and things like that don't matter? Because what these nonprofits are doing is this transformative justice. They come in with all these social change effects to get people to think and have a media outlook that differs with what was the established norm in that country, right?
Right.
And then there's a second string of nonprofits that actually receive more aid dollars from the USAID, and that's this National Endowment for Democracy that was to go out to these countries and say, well, if your country doesn't believe in the new way of doing business and this, social change, then maybe we should, show you ways to change the government. And this stuff is an ancient history. Just a couple of weeks ago, the Romanian presidential election, because if you look at Eastern Europe, Poland, Hungary, places like that, they're going populist just like we did with President Trump.
Right.
Well, the National Endowment for Democracy, a Soros-funded nonprofit that got USAID grant money, millions and millions of USAID grant money, went in there and basically blocked that election. Said that there was questions with the election integrity, and that election has to be recast at this point. That the person who won that election has not been able to take his seat. So this is what they do internationally. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Does this stuff sound at all familiar to what's been happening here over the last 3 presidential elections?
It's eerily familiar. What we just didn't realize, I mean, you and I have been paying attention, we didn't realize it was a global enterprise.
And there's a reason, because for 25 years, these Soros-funded groups have been practicing in tin pot republics all over the world. And now they're coming back here. So starting with the election, the Trump election, 2016, we started seeing this gigantic surge in funding for who? Who's Soros putting money into? DA elections, judges elections. So these are the people who, if there's an election integrity issue, are charged with enforcing those laws. And the cornerstone of all these, transformative justice, and don't let the word justice in transformative justice fool you. It's basically to get people through the media to believe that, hey, if you don't think that law is right, we shouldn't enforce it because that law is wrong. So they're not actually, trying to fund congressmen to get, laws changed. What they're doing is they're funding DAs and judges to just simply not enforce laws so that they could change it from the back end. And the irony is a lot of these groups receiving aid funding for international efforts are funneling it back into these progressive prosecutor justice movements right here in America, where aid has no charter. aid is not supposed – any money that USAID grants is not supposed to be used here in the United States. But Soros has a group called the Tides Network. Go to their website. You'll see a bunch of people holding signs about Georgia election integrity, the Stacey Abrams scam, right? The Black Lives Matter riots. Remember when we were a couple of years ago, you and Maya were talking about the Black Lives Matter stuff. We were on this phone talking about, you know, how the bricks in the buses and the signs are all printed the day these verdicts come out that everyone wants to protest. That's because this Tide Network is the one funding it. And that's getting USAID money. So you and I are funding Soros, who's giving the money to his Tides Network foundations, who are giving the money to another shady nonprofit like Real Justice PAC, who got Krasner elected using illegal campaign donations. And then here we are with the, you know, a DA in Philly who's now running for his third term with a media, you know, whether it be the Inquirer or 6ABC, that refuses, because, again, they're getting ad buys from Soros groups, right? So they refuse to cover the outright corruption in his administration. And there's some real big revelations even this week on that stuff.
I'm reminded of that scene in The Godfather, the first one, when Don Corleone says, "Oh, you know, Tattaglia's a pimp. He never could have outfought Santino. It was Bazzini all along, right?" I mean, we have suspected for so long what is being uncovered and what you've done a good job of outlining in this article over Broad and Liberty. We didn't know the scope. And it's also something remarkable to see it spelled out, right, in plain English. What you've suspected so long. We were so close, and we still could, folks. Right, the battle's not over. We were so close to losing our republic, but for the result of this last election, and now all of the scrutiny that USAID is getting, as Ben points out, you know, at one time, USAID had a very important and noble purpose. It's clearly being manipulated by some bad actors in ways that we never could have dreamed in our darkest nightmares. But here we are.
President Trump's 100% right in his current approach, because the truth is, aid was always just a disbursement group that the State Department dictated to. Right? Like, hey, we need people in this. And my uncle used to give us, you know, great stories at dinner when he'd come back to the States. He always had an apartment in Virginia, even though he lived all over the world. And we'd sit down and he'd be like, you know, he'd have some guy come in, you know, supposedly to deliver rice under a USAID ID. Like, you know, he had orders to come in for USAID. Sure. And he wouldn't see him for 2 weeks. And then the day his orders expired, he'd ship out. Like, thanks, boss. He was CIA. There was always that kind of stuff. This was during the Cold War, so you had an excuse to get into these countries. No more. It should absolutely be folded up and you know, enclosed into a granting function from the State Department, because it's completely unaccountable right now. And look, they were smart. You want to talk about how genius the Doge, you know, group is. They hit aid first. Aid is kind of an inconsequential agency when it comes to the average American, because they don't even think about this stuff. They're not traveling internationally.
Sure.
Yeah, but they hit the absolute honeypot of corruption for all these groups that are donating to the Democrats, and they put it right on Front Street for everyone to read. So this is just brilliant, because now they're getting into the biggies, the DODs and the IRSs. You know, look, everyone knows in the DOD you get the $60 hammer, right? But, you know, it'll be interesting to see how much of this illegal money gets to Krasner this time around.
I was just going to say, he's up for re-election. So does it emerge as an issue in the campaign? And does it matter? Because we're talking about Philadelphia here. I hate to say it.
And I don't know if he's just arrogant or stupid. But when you think about some of his donors, so last week, so back in May, Ralph Cipriano wrote about Leonard Hill. Leonard Hill's the obnoxious billboard lawyer, one of the ambulance chasers who buys all the I-95 billboards. You know, personal injury guy. And he shot somebody. He called it a robbery attempt, but the other guy didn't have anything but a screwdriver or a small penknife. Shot him while he was running away from him, while he's standing in front of the Ashton on Walnut Street. And Krasner tried to give him an ARD, which basically means you do, a year or less of probation, and then you have no criminal record for shooting a guy on Walnut Street. But he's a campaign donor and a fellow lawyer who used to work with Krasner, in a similar capacity when Krasner was a defense lawyer. So he's his buddy. So he's gonna try to squeeze it, and the judge wouldn't have it. The judge told him, no, you don't get to give a guy an ARD for a shooting. It's not what we do. So just like, what's his name? Hunter Biden, they tried to squeeze one by that judge.
They tried to give him a sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
But the judge didn't go
said,
for it.
Because in Philly, the judges are elected. So he's like, you got to be out of your mind that I'm going to sign off on an ARD for a guy for shooting someone who's a lawyer who knows you.
The best thing I can say about all this is it's a reminder that the scope of the problem is immense. But at least now we can begin to see it clear-eyed, and hopefully the voters can too. Ben Manis, everyone, from Broad and Liberty, always insightful, always interesting, always candid. Ben, we appreciate you joining us as ever on the Matt Rooney Show, sir.
Absolutely. Good having you. Thank you very much.
Back in just a moment, folks, to close out the show. Don't go anywhere.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Looking to unlock your savings potential? With the First Harvest Credit Union Growth Savings Account, you can earn as high as 3.25% annual percentage yield. Or check out our competitive certificate and IRA specials. Earn more with flexible access to your funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth savings or your nearest branch to open your account or to get details. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for 85 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Enhance your home's curb appeal with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
Our high-quality products offer style, security, and energy efficiency.
And you can choose from a wide selection of styles and finishes from major brands like Anderson or Provia.
Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Signs of Autumn over on the YouTube channel says, great information this guy gave us. Wow, I hope we can open the voters' eyes even wider and keep this going beyond 4 years, or it'll all fall apart within a month or less. It's true. Ben Manis laid it all out there tonight from Broad and Liberty. It's kind of the one theme that ties our two guests tonight together. Mike Inganamort, Assemblyman from New Jersey, Ben Manis over in Philly. A lot of hard truths being uncovered as a result of what Doge is doing, even down here at the state level and the local level in our region. But it's important that the American people finally get to see it and are aware that it exists, because otherwise change can't happen. So no spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down tonight, folks. I don't know what to tell you, but I know what I do have for
Did you know who that last song was?
Did I know who the last song was?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't paying attention.
You suck.
I was not paying attention.
You suck. Never mind. I don't even want to say it. I'm just killing my mood.
Your mood, because you were so buoyant and bubbly beforehand.
Yeah. It was Daft Punk.
It was Daft Punk. I like Daft Punk.
Well, there you go. I play a song you like, and you don't even.
I like that. What is it? Up All Night to Get Lucky song they do.
Oh, that's not real Daft Punk.
What do you mean that's not real
That's
Daft
not
Punk?
real.
Is it them or isn't it?
It's them, but that's not real Daft. Real Daft Punk is like the 90s. That is not real. That's modern Daft Punk. Everything they made in that era or that album is actually there's like 2 songs I like on that album, but everything else on that album is just
Just isn't your thing.
I like the one with Pharrell Williams. Who even is that guy?
Isn't he the one that wore like the Smokey the Bear hat?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Whenever I think of that guy, the happy guy, right?
Yeah.
Happy, and he has
Yeah.
the Smokey the Bear hat.
Anyway, you continue what you thought.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what I was talking about at this point.
I don't know.
You interrupted me so rudely, and
Yeah.
I have no idea where we were going. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I've got something to lift your spirits.
Okay.
At the end of the night here. It's the zaniest, most twisted segment in all of talk radio. I'm tempted every week to say we're not doing it anymore, but here we go again. What's it called?
Hey guys, gather round. Gather round.
It's Twit Talk time. This is the greatest segment in all of radio. You're just jealous.
Some would say
You're
that.
just jealous.
By the way, I should say this so everyone's aware. Twit Talk is funded by U.S. Aid, so it may not be on much longer.
Twit Talk is not funded by anyone. It's funded by my own pockets that people seem to be running.
All right, let's begin the parade of horribles.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with grandmom names, or do you want to start with ethical cigarettes?
I'm intrigued by ethical cigarettes. Ethically sourced cigs.
So there's this guy on TikTok. Also, my camera's way out of there, but who cares? There is a guy on TikTok who literally just, I guess, reviews cigarettes. And someone asked him what the most ethical cigarette was to smoke. Granted, this video was like 2 minutes long, so I only took like maybe 40 seconds of it. But if you want to know what the most ethical cigarette is, I got you.
Well, can I ask a quick question, though? When we say ethical, what I'm assuming that means is that it's not being rolled by a child worker in a corrupt country.
You know, I don't really know. He answers the question, but I don't know how that's ethical. But you know what?
Well, let's hear what he has to say.
What is the most ethical cigarette brand? Ooh, very good question. Gotta be Newport's. Why are Newport's the most ethical cigarette brand? Well, it's pretty easy. They gave out cigarettes to children in the 1950s and 60s to promote sales of their own brand and to get lifelong consumers of their brand. If that's not ethical, I don't know what is. They were giving out free cigarettes to children. Now, that's illegal today, and it might have been illegal back then, too. I'm not really sure, in all honesty. I have no idea. Either way, though, they're providing a service, and they're providing free stuff to people. If that's not ethical, I don't know what is.
Does that answer your question?
No. But I still chuckled all the same.
There you go, Newports.
Yeah, Newports.
Hey, I know you have a long ways to go before you become a grandfather. You have a really long ways to go.
Yeah, that's not my immediate future.
But have you ever thought about...
I think I'd be a very fun grandfather, but I'm not rushing that one.
Have you thought about what your granddad name would be?
No, I haven't devoted any serious thought to that.
I think I have the right one for you.
For me specifically.
You or the lovely Jackie.
Okay.
One of the two.
Okay.
What are y'all's grandma names gonna be? Like, I feel like I don't want mine to be like Mimi or PP. It needs to be something. They need to be like, yeah, Grandma Puchina had it going on back in the day.
Puchina. Grandma Puchina.
Okay, can I ask a follow-up question?
What was that at the end?
What was that at the end?
I don't know. You want me to go back to it?
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right.
Going on back in the day.
Sounds like someone, I don't know, got like kicked in the Puchina.
There you go. So grandma and granddad Puchino. Puccino or Puchina, feminine.
Well, right. I was going to say the grandmom would be Puchina. Puccino would be
you.
Yeah, because typically, at least in the Romance languages, the O, the A denotes gender.
Right. Yeah.
If gender is even a thing at that point.
Yeah. You remember Obama?
I seem to remember a guy named Obama. It feels like it was a long time ago.
Do you remember when he was in office for 8 years?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember all the scandals that he had?
Oh, one a minute.
Okay, well, this guy lists majority of them. It's like 2 minutes long, but I didn't want to cut it because it was a good.
Really?
Yeah.
Lays them all out there?
Yeah, you ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Memory lane.
Yeah. I know this is PTSD for you.
Okay, go.
Don't you guys miss Obama? 8 years, 0 scandals. Well, besides butchering Libya, destroying Syria, increasing drone strikes by over 1,000%, unaliving a U.S. citizen with a drone, refusing to push for single-payer health care even with a Democratic supermajority, colluding with the DNC to sabotage the campaign of Bernie Sanders, bailing out the big banks and Wall Street after the 2008 financial crisis. He once wore a tan suit. He bombed civilians in Libya. He armed extremist groups in Syria. He expanded NSA mass surveillance. He failed to help the Flint, Michigan water crisis and even mocked them by drinking water in front of them at a speech given in Flint. He fueled Saudi Arabia's G-side in Yemen, which led to the largest cholera outbreak in history. He gave billions of dollars in weapons to the white and blue country as they launched assaults on Palestinian civilians and children.
Anyway, we get the idea. The list goes on and on and on. But do you remember any of those?
The thing that I love about it, I mean, yes, I remember it. Clearly, painful memories in many cases. When you listen to some of the guy's complaints, it's obvious he's not a conservative. This is a total burn bro. This is a Bernie bro.
Probably.
These are the people who don't traditionally agree with someone like me, but that have moved over to Donald Trump. I don't know if that's what this guy did.
I don't know. There was nothing
But it's guys like him that were RFK fans that have now become MAGA.
My favorite scandal of his was when he wore a tan suit.
Unforgivable.
I don't know why that's such a bad thing. He wore a tan suit. Please. You know what I mean?
Tan suits look good on almost no one. It washes you out. The only person I've ever seen that could pull off a tan suit was Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan could pull off a tan suit. Just saying.
You ever wonder who the smelliest person in Congress was?
I have my suspicions.
You want to take a guess?
Bernie's got to smell.
Okay. Bernie's up there.
He's got to be stinky. Well, probably one of the older members, too. Like Nancy Pelosi, if you can get past the smell of Chardonnay and makeup, probably kind of stinks.
Well, our good old friend, remember George Santos? You remember that guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, he went on
Your buddy.
Yeah. He went on some podcast. I don't know what it was, but they asked him who.
Is he going to jail soon?
Is he?
I think so.
Probably. Anyway, he was on a podcast, and someone asked him who the smelliest person in Congress was. This is what he said.
But, dude, the dude just stinks. Who has the worst breath in Congress?
Sorry, worst breath.
That's so. Oh my God. Okay, so I can say this
Sure.
with no mental reservation.
Sure.
The worst body odor in Congress is definitely Jerry Nadler.
Oh yeah.
And Jerry Nadler would waddle down that aisle and crop dust it. like it was every step of his waddle was a fart. But dude, the dude just stinks.
Jerry Nadler. Not even close.
I believe that. Jerry Nadler kind of looks like Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns.
He does.
You kind of see him coming and you're like, whack, whack, whack,
Yeah, he
whack,
does.
whack, whack.
Yeah, but
Somebody get Batman. Gotham City Bank is being robbed.
Well, according to George Santos, Jerry Nadler just reeks of BO.
Yeah, I should have guessed that. I kind of forget he's a thing sometimes. That's why I didn't get there.
Nice. This one I just had labeled liberalism. I really don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
I don't want to assume anything, but I'm going to assume that he is a gay black conservative.
No. Well, that's a awful interesting assumption to make about someone.
But
had to be some clues to get you there.
You'll once you find out.
Okay.
Okay.
Conservatives are never going to accept you. I'd rather be as lonely as Cardi B's last brain cell than surrounded by weakness. Now walk with me. There is nothing appealing about being a liberal. I don't want to be on the side with neutered men or women bragging about aborting babies like it's a Call of Duty kill streak. Leftism had our country so backwards that we've been funding DEI TV shows in the Middle East. Iraq is never going to make their whole country worship black, gay, disabled, obese people like America does. I am not a pick-me. I don't need validation from anyone besides my accountant. Yet leftists love to tell me that my liberal father must be disappointed in me. He is, and that's a sacrifice that I am willing to make for limited government. God himself is disappointed in some of you for switching up his design. You need to be worried about your own acceptance because the walls escaping hell cannot be jumped.
So does my assumption stand corrected?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, I don't want to assume, but I'm
Dude.
going to assume.
Dude, though, but seriously, I know it's not an original point to this evening, but the coalition that Donald Trump has built, you could have imagined this 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty much everyone now versus liberal educated white women. Like that's really what the Democrats have left to them. That's it. And federal workers who are losing their jobs.
Well,
that's it.
Did you hear Trump's going after the USPS?
Oh, he's had issues with the post office for a long time.
And everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna get our mail." I was like, "You realize the USPS literally sucks?
They're terrible.
They are terrible."
I mean, what do you really get through the mail in 2025 that you really want?
I don't want any of it. It's all bills. I don't want it.
Well, or just crap, right? It's,
Right, and
it's
the things that are fun come in like an Amazon truck or like a UPS truck or like a FedEx truck. Those are the fun things.
That's right.
The USPS comes around and you're like, I got some stupid old grandma coupons at a Giant that I don't need.
That's right. Ooh, discount fish sticks.
Stupid ass bills.
There's no utility.
Oh, dude, I
pay my bills online.
I get those.
I get my checks online.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I get those discount like coupon books every day, and I don't know how to get rid of them. Like they're not from me. Like I moved into this apartment and they were just there. I don't know how to get rid of them. I really don't.
Somehow they know.
I guess the people who lived there before just kept having them. I don't know, but
we don't have enough time right now. But I had a check that got lost that was being sent to me maybe about 6 months ago. At a later date, I will share my odyssey that I went through, and I still never got the check.
It's also funny that I always write on the people who don't live there anymore. I write on the envelope because this is what the USPS told me to do. I wrote on the envelope, does not live here. Like it was some random person that probably lived there before. I said, does not live here.
Doesn't matter. Gets black holes.
And I still get their mail.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then what's the point?
There is no point.
Anyway, moving on. I didn't have a lot of Twit Talks tonight, but I did save the best for last. You want to take a guess what it is?
Does it begin with Theo and end with Vaughn?
Yes, it does. Theodore Von Kowski, whatever his name is, but who's half black. His dad is black.
I was waiting for you to elaborate.
Yeah, his dad is part black or is black.
I don't see color, so
I don't either.
You're talking to the wrong person.
He's South African. I think that's what it is. I think Theo Von is South African.
Is he one of Elon Musk's children?
I don't know.
They're cropping up all over the place these days.
Yeah, I think he's his full name is Theodore Capitani von Kernatowski III.
That's tremendous.
He's not black. He said that he was like half black.
He probably said that he was African. Because if he's got South African heritage, then technically you're African.
His father
but
was
not African in the way we usually mean it in this
native
country.
of Bluefields, Nicaragua.
Okay.
So whatever race you want to call that. Hispanic? Sure. Anyway, yes, the Theo Von clip.
Lay it on me.
Where are they getting new fish from? You notice this on menus? It's like, oh, they got the mahi-mahi. Where's that been? Dude, go read Moby Dick. See how many mahi-mahis they got in that sucker. Zilchy, bro. I'm somewhere the other day and the guy's like, oh, we got line-caught barramundi. Dude, I don't give a how you convince that thing to swim over here. I don't care if you poured nicotine in the water for a couple years and slowly got them addicted. And barramundi, I never heard of that. Give me a real fish people have heard of. Catfish. Swedish fish. It's a candy, but everybody's heard of it. Trout. Tuna fish. I'm just sick of some of this fake fish. We got butterfish. We got whitefish. What are you talking about? Where'd you get it? You got an email from the Lord and they said, we releasing, 2 new types of fish. Like it's a new shoe. We got limited edition over here on these swimmers. Get out of here.
A barramundi is what Jerry Nadler eats raw before he battles with Batman. That's what a barramundi is. What fun. What fun we have here on the Matt Rooney Show. It's sad that another episode is over, but there's always next Sunday, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard here on 1210. Until then, thank you to our audience, both online and the old-fashioned way that you listen. Thank you to producer Dan and everyone who makes the show happen. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, and keep fighting for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6980.